as workers squeezed by rising costs fight for higher pay.
The government is saying the absolute priority is to get inflation down, and the Treasury believes that if you have high pay increases, that will make the job of reducing inflation harder. At the same time, though, unions are turning around and saying inflation's over 10%. We need pay rises that start to reflect that to make sure that our members can keep up with the rising cost of living.
That's a BBC's Nick Eardley. Helicopters and lifeboats rushed to the English Channel off the coast of Kent, southern England, earlier today to rescue a small boat that had capsized in the freezing water. 4 people died. The Prime Minister confirmed in comments to Parliament that there was a loss of life. However, he offered no specifics on the incident. News and analysis, townhall.com. They're off the hook.
Outgoing Oregon Governor Kate Brown commutes the sentences of all 17 of the state's inmates on death row to life in prison. Brown says she believes justice is not advanced by taking a life, and she believes the state shouldn't be in the business of executing people. She also ordered the execution chamber be dismantled. One of the men spared from death killed his wife and children in 2001. Another man starved and tortured the 3-year-old daughter of his live-in girlfriend for weeks before he murdered her. Prosecutors say it was the worst case of child abuse they'd ever seen. These just 2 of the 17 murderers on Oregon's death row that will benefit from the actions of the governor. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Ukrainian officials say they thwarted a Russian attack on Kiev and the surrounding region as their air defense system intercepted and destroyed 13 explosives-laden drones. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy middle of the week, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Halfway day.
Yeah.
Hump day.
Yeah, you can kind of start feeling the weekend from here. Kind of not, you're starting to think maybe I want a weekend plan. Today's that day.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, what?
Hey, Mike. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Yeah, big fan of that commercial.
Oh, I know.
Right there with lights.
I could feel it seething from that side of the board.
Yeah, I never get tired of that. Yep, that's my adult version of the Life cereal. That's the adult version of it.
Yep.
You know, why do you mess with people named Mike? Why, of all people,
it's
Mike?
just,
why Mike?
It's such a simple name.
Yeah.
I don't mean to insult it by any stretch of the imagination.
I didn't pick it.
Right. But it's a standard. It's like Joe.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of people, you know,
Hey, Joe,
have entered it.
Where you going with that gun in your hand?
We've entered our EDM phase, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's like a rave on our TV in here, but that's Inside Baseball, we're using a different computer for our streaming the video side. It's for whatever reason it does not like our TV in here, and so we have a monitor in the studio I'm in to see the video feed, and it cuts in and out. Where sometimes it's with this computer, it doesn't affect you guys. It's just what we see.
Yeah.
And it cuts in and out like it just did right now. And then when it's not cutting in and out, it's doing this freeze flash to normal looking view to this pixelated, almost like
silver tone, like
smartphone filter option.
like imagine your TV just turned into a strobe light real quick.
And
that's what it's doing. Makes you kind of want to do this thing with your head.
Yeah. Feel like I'm at a night at the Roxbury. But yeah, it's been doing its thing. So we kind of been having jest with it.
That movie is one of my favorite movies of the SNL like movie genre.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies of my young adult life.
Okay.
That being said, every single review I've ever read about it,
they slam it.
It is a terrible movie by everyone else's standards. But I really enjoyed the story of that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a funny.
Now, granted, I was 12 when I watched it, so it was right up my alley.
Well, sure.
That whole
For what it was great.
The whole pickup line of "Boo! Boo! It's the sound of the ambulance coming to take me away because the sight of you stopped my heart."
I will say this: it is by far Chris Kattan's greatest venture ever.
100%. You come at me with your Corky Romano, I rebut. I rebuke you.
Although I kind of laugh every time I watch the Corky Romano.
It's a weird movie, man.
There's a couple scenes that make me laugh every time.
That's a weird movie.
Yeah, it's just because there's so many like '90s soprano types that have appearances in that movie that makes me. It's like you guys are all working on a movie called Corky Romano.
Right. It really is a real opportunity for Goomba Johnny to come by and
I'm pretty sure some of you guys were working with Martin Scorsese like 5 years ago. Now you're Corky Romano.
Hey, they got to eat.
I get you.
Hey,
I get you, but
Corky Romano bought somebody a house.
Somebody got a house off that. Yeah.
But like of the SNL movies, do you remember like there were some bad ones? Like they put out a whole movie based around The Ladies' Man.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
I think the worst, though, by far the worst, they did an It's Pat movie.
I remember the It's Pat movie.
Yeah. That's so bad.
Spoiler, Pat marries Chris at the end.
That's K-R-I-S. You don't know. Nobody knows. Oh, what a terrible.
Chris was just as ambiguous as
Same thing with Coneheads. It was, again, one of my favorite movies of my childhood.
Although I enjoy Coneheads. Coneheads, and I think Coneheads was a huge hit. Like
it was one of the bigger ones for them.
Yeah. But, I mean, I love the original Wayne's World, man.
That's the problem. They put out Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2, and they did such a great job with those.
Yeah.
They thought, we can do this with any old thing. The three that they've done that have been actual, like, hits at the box office, well, the four, are Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2, Blues Brothers and Blues Brothers 2000. Literally, the two one-off jokes and their sequels are the only movies that have ever made money for SNL at the box office.
Now, was Blues Brothers an actual skit in SNL? Okay.
Yeah, it started as an SNL.
I just didn't know if the movie.
And it wasn't even okay. So do you remember there was that weird like 2 or 3 years when SNL was truly trying to buy into the variety show mindset? Not all of their sketches were comedy sketches. Some of them were just like a couple ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
That's what the Blues Brothers spawned from. It was Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi realizing they wanted to just go out and do a blues performance, and they did it, granted, more animated, but there was nothing really funny about that premise.
Gotcha.
But it became such a huge hit for SNL and for Lorne Michaels, they launched the movie off.
And then they turned it into the iconic classic that it is today.
Indeed.
So, but there was some, like the MacGruber.
MacGruber was great. Well, okay, MacGruber was good for what it was. I way prefer the sketches than the movie.
I like the whole making fun of like a MacGyver spinoff, but it should have never got to movie level. It should have stayed its skit bit situation.
And the same thing goes with Stuart Saves His Family.
Yeah.
They did a whole movie on Stuart Smalley.
Yeah, that was bad.
Daily affirmation with Stuart Smalley.
Again,
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Some things should just stay funny at about 4 minutes, not at an hour and a half.
Exactly. But hey, At least you tried, Lauren. At least you tried.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you throw enough stuff at the wall, some things stick, and well.
Fun fact, and I don't know if
laughing all the way to the bank is Lorne Michaels. And here I sit.
Most people know this, but Dr. Evil, Mike Myers,
is kind of a loose
is spot on exactly his Lorne Michael impression.
Yeah, that's exactly how he does it. I knew he was influenced.
What's that comedy group, the Kids on the Block?
The Kids in the Hall?
No,
Kids in the Hall?
Kids in the Hall.
They made a movie that technically did a Dr. Evil impression before Austin Powers did.
Really?
I mean, a Dr. Evil, Lorne Michaels impression.
A Kids in the Hall movie? I seem to remember one. I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, there's a villain. The villain in that is a Lorne Michaels impression before Dr. Evil.
And to be honest, when Kids in the Hall came out, it was kind of innovative for its time, but it got into an industry that they really started oversaturating.
Oh, Brain Candy.
Because
Brain Candy, that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that movie.
I do remember it. I don't think I ever saw it.
I saw it. It was because I saw everything Kids in the Hall back in the day. It's just I don't remember much about it.
Like a few months ago.
But they also came out in a time where it got oversaturated, where everyone started putting out, like the MTV had the State Group, which is a good one. HBO kind of went with the Mr. Show route. They all had their own little like sketch comedy, Lorne Michaels SNL type bit. Everyone was trying to. Obviously, Fox brought out Mad TV at that time, so it was kind of.
You know why Mad TV
popular.
was a bigger deal for me? They did a crossover with WCW back in the day. Will Sasso did a whole like run with Bret the Hitman Hart, where he showed up on Mad TV and like beat up Will Sasso, like after a sketch went awry or whatever.
Oh, really?
He like took a swing at Will Sasso, and then Will Sasso showed up on the next Monday's Nitro, and it was like a whole thing. And they ended up having a match at a pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
So for a quick minute, Mad TV was like my jam, just because of the wrestling tie-in.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Very good. I think you know what? I just think we might have our guest here.
Is either a guest or they're like, please get on with it.
I think I know who it is, and that's is that a guest?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the Federated Women? Yes. Yeah. All right. They're going to join us here in just a little bit. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. You might just heard there. Margaret Kinnert's going to join us here with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. They're going to give us an update on their next meeting, which should be Wednesday. I think is it tomorrow or next? I think it's tomorrow.
Today's Wednesday.
I mean, next Wednesday. I think it's next Wednesday. The third Wednesday is when they have their meetings, or their annual meetings, or monthly, not annual, monthly meetings. So we'll talk with her in just a few minutes. Brian Luck, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent, will join us next hour, give us an update there. And then we're going to replay our interview with the folks in the Roswell Refuge about 9:15. They joined us last week talking about some needs and things. So we'll play that for you about 9:15 or so.
Very good.
And then we'll have all of your features and all of that.
You know how I've mentioned before on this program, this very program, me and online shopping don't get along.
Yeah, you talked about that yesterday with your clothes and have other people do it for you.
I made a purchase last evening, a Christmas present for my son, and
it's not clothing, is it?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. And it says everything went through. It says it's going to be shipped. It says it'll be here Friday because I have Prime and I get free shipping. And it'll be here Friday. My card hasn't been charged yet.
Oh.
So come to find out from somebody who orders much more off frequently from Amazon than I do, they don't charge until they ship.
Oh.
That's stupid. Charge me when I run the card.
Yeah. I don't know. Now you got to do some math.
I'm just in panic mode. Like, okay, how is this going to screw up on me?
Yeah.
Because it's never it's never going to work for me. And maybe it's just that I don't have faith in the system, but it's never worked for me. Not one time I've ever successfully ordered something online and been happy about it. So I'm like, fate's in your hands, Amazon. Come on, Bezos, don't let me down. You could put a rocket over our stratosphere. You could ship me a package. Pretty excited about it too. I got him the big Jenga set.
Oh,
yeah,
giant Jenga.
Mm-hmm. Says it gets up to 4.5 feet. It's like,
wow,
he's not even that big.
Yeah, I was saying he's not tall.
Nope.
I was gonna say y'all are forgetting the best comedy movie, and it's Pat.
That no, we mentioned it's Pat.
We did mention it's Pat.
That's a you want to talk about a terrible? Hold on a second.
You liked it. He liked it.
You've seen It's Pat.
No.
I was gonna say if you've seen It's Pat, but you haven't seen the Chappelle Show, any of Chappelle's show, I'm ashamed. Oh. But okay, if you haven't, that's fine. I'll let it slide this time.
That is a bit odd.
Yeah, I've made Chappelle Show references, and he's like, "Oh, I never watched Chappelle Show." I'm like, "It's a classic.
It is.
Every sketch is so good."
Mm-hmm. No, I've only heard of It's Pat and how terrible it is.
Bad. It is bad. It is bad. It's.
I never actually watched it.
No. It's. To be honest, now that one I've seen, but I have never seen Ladies Man.
It's honestly, it's of the SNL movies. It's Pat is the one joke that does not age well. I mean, you can't really show that movie in 2022.
And it's probably why it's not like available anywhere. Right. You don't see it on Netflix.
It's not exactly true.
Or buried on Amazon Prime somewhere or whatever.
Check it out on Peacock.
Yeah.
I think it was groundbreaking, actually. It was revolutionary.
Was it? the movie you haven't seen? Now, in fairness, ahead of its time, sure.
Well, then add the stupids to your list if that's... that one's Tom Arnold's finest right there. It is 7:19. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure parking over the Four Corners with fairly cool air, but we'll get pretty nice weather over the next couple of days. Still windy today with a few gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine, though, at our high in the low to mid 50s. We'll be in the upper 20s and clear for the overnight hours. Looks like low to mid 50s again on Thursday. Not as windy, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. A little cooler on Friday, mid 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 37 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 41%. Winds currently out of the west at 13 miles per hour. Sunny and 54 today. Although I ain't going to lie. Today, coming to work felt way colder than any other day this week. And technically it's not, but it sure feels like it with that wind. But we're allegedly getting to 54 today. Winds out of the northwest, 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. So no wind respite today. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 25, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, kind of like today with a little less wind, so it's better. Sunny, 52 for a high, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 25 with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny, 45 for a high. Yeah, it's getting colder. Winds out of the north, 10 to 15, so less wind. I guess that's the trade-off. And then for the weekend, Saturday, sunny, 48 for a high, partly cloudy, back into the low 50s, 52 on Sunday. All right, it is 21 minutes after 7. We're going to take a quick 3-minute commercial break, and then we'll talk with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Eastern New Mexico University in Portales is proud to offer potential students the opportunity to attend ENMU tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. And now we are proud to announce the newly created Freshman Hound Housing Room Grant, which will allow students the opportunity to receive up to $3,000 per year off their housing costs when living on the ENMU campus. For more information on how ENMU is making higher education more affordable for you and your family members, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Buying a sewing machine from a big box store or online might seem like a bargain, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Just the machine. No lessons, no help with figuring out why it isn't working the way you expect, and no one close to fix it. Buying locally from an authorized retailer may cost a little more, but in the end, it will save you time, money, and aggravation. Come see me, Chris Ann, at So Easy Sewing, 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell, and let me show you why it pays to shop local. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her, so when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
The New Mexico Modern Child Support Family Program. It works to benefit both parents for the purpose of improving children's lives. It provides the basics of child support but goes further by helping parents step up to find better job opportunities that get them back on track to paying their monthly child support obligation. Find out how the Child Support Step-Up program can help your modern family. Contact New Mexico Child Support today at 1-800-283-4465 or visit hsd.state.nm.us. Brought to you by the New Mexico Human Services Department.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, Janine Cornbest and Margaret Kinnard back with us. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
How's well, I haven't seen you since Thanksgiving, so how was Thanksgiving?
It went well. So we didn't come last month.
That's
we didn't
right.
make
You guys missed last
It was
month.
the day after the election.
That's right.
And it was
so it was kind of
crazy.
That's right. So I haven't seen you in 2 months.
Yep.
So how's Thanksgiving? We'll go back there and then we'll get into after.
Fine. Our whole family had the flu.
So
Essentially.
sick.
Mine was.
That's one way to get out of cooking.
Yeah, mine was no kids in the mountains, football and food.
Okay. So quiet and nice.
Quiet and nice.
Victory there.
I'm past the age of children.
Well, are you at a point where you have to do things, or can you just show up at people's houses and?
No, I can stop at houses and say hello and goodbye. And I have no grandkids. So
Good. Nice.
I just now got my oldest one married off.
Okay. So is this one getting to work here on providing?
No,
grandkids?
she's in California with her husband, and he is an electrical contractor. They put up the great big metal.
Oh, okay.
Helicopter down. Yeah.
So they're busy.
Yeah. They said they're banking. Now, kids' words of banking, I don't know what that means.
I think it means you're going to be a grandmother, but not for a while.
I don't even take care of the dogs.
Well, I guess for folks that aren't familiar, we talk with these ladies every month, but the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, during the election cycle, their primary focus is on, presenting all the Republican candidates throughout the state and educating the public on those candidates. Well, now that in between election seasons, the shift kind of, they're always still educating and going out and doing things for the Republican Party, but your guys' attention kind of shifts on more the service organization side, working for scholarships for youth and various pet projects that the Federated Republican Women. So is that kind of where you guys are at now? Now that the election's over, kind of shifting gears to the service side of the Federated Republican Women?
So this month, we're going to have a representative from the Republican Party of New Mexico come and speak. So for those that don't know, the Republicans just elected Steve Pierce back as chairman.
Re-elected him as the chair for the Republican Party for the state of New Mexico.
Yes. And so there were several candidates, I believe there were 5. We had spoken to each of them, and they all agreed if they were to win, they would come and attend our meeting and the elected candidate. And so Steve, however, he is out of town, so he's not going to be able to be here. But we do have one of his executive board members who will be attending, and her name is Maricela. let me see, Spinelli. Trujillo Spinelli is going to be here. She's the
I can
secretary.
see why that didn't just roll off the tongue.
I've slept since I last
a lot of names.
Yes. So she'll be down to speak.
Okay.
That's going to be our next meeting. So for those that don't know, every third Wednesday is our monthly luncheon at the Civic Center.
And you're invited to come and enjoy lunch and hear the speakers and of course talk with people before and afterwards about everything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little bit of Christmas entertainment. So we'll have some carols, Christmas carolers.
Okay.
And then also we're going to be hearing from former City Manager Joe Nebb. We're going to recognize him, and he'll have a few minutes to speak.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a full program as usual.
Yeah.
And we also are transitioning into a new term of officers. So we are going to be electing the next president.
So it's the business side of it. And
a little bit of business and a little bit of Christmas.
Sure.
So I will not be seeking another term.
Okay.
As my life is a little bit full right now, and this is a big job.
Yeah, she keeps having kids, so she has to keep raising a family.
She hadn't figured that one out.
Where Janine's got lots of free time.
Exactly.
Margaret, on the other.
Right. So Janine's staying, and I will stay on the board. But it's not as big of a role.
Right. You're just gonna come on Wednesday, eat lunch, and be part of the group.
I'll go to the board meeting. No. But anyway, I'll still stay on, and I have a chair position that I'm actually
They'll keep
working
you busy
now.
regardless.
Yeah.
They'll find something.
So
for
we
you
are
to do.
always in need of volunteers. Most of us wear several different hats.
Sure.
You know how that goes when
Well,
you're
obviously,
involved
I mean,
in
both you are serving or have served on city council and 20 other different other civic organizations and things that you guys are involved with.
Yeah.
So it's generally every member of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, which, by the way, you don't have to be just a woman to be a part of the Chaves County Federated. They have would serve as an associate auxiliary something, and that's where our male counterparts are can serve there. But
but within our organization, we're always needing more help.
Yeah,
because
so-
Janine does several things, and I have several things I'm responsible for that we could, ideally hand over to somebody else to help us with, so that we're not overwhelmed.
Well, and I would imagine too, because obviously after the election results here, many Republicans are not happy with the results of what happened in this past election. So what are you going to do about it? That's my point is, okay, you're unhappy. Fine. Well, what are you just going to sit around and wait for the next election and see who you get to vote for then? Or are you going to be actively involved in doing something about that process?
Correct.
So I would offer to you, if you're looking for an avenue to do something about that, maybe the Chaves County Federated Republican Women could be that resource or that avenue for you to do that.
Right.
So,
well, and Chaves County always turns out, we always get a good. We are always red in Chaves County. However, there always is room for improvement, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing my part. I'm creating children.
Sure.
And trying to teach them.
I think she's taking a shot at you. Where's your
I'm trying to up our percentages, okay? But,
we're going to beat them by strength of number. Look how we keep making kids. That's not a bad strategy.
Well, so we need your kids to have kids, and my kids to have kids. And,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're raising the next generation here, but we do. And all the joking aside, if you hate what's going on, then you need to roll up your sleeves and do something about it.
Stop the social media stuff.
That stuff, and I get it. It's fun.
And I'm going to poke back. Hey, that's just my nature.
In case you have not seen Janine on social media, she does not shy about
no.
chiming in.
I have nothing to lose, right?
But and I'm all for good discussion. It's a great forum to actually. The problem is
good discussion.
Yes, the
not
problem
wasting words.
I don't believe humanity's smart enough to handle it. And that's unfortunately the more I live, the more evidence I confirms that for me.
Exactly.
So, but that doesn't mean we throw the baby out with the bathwater. You gotta You just got to be smart and be wise on what you intake and what you put out on social media, and realize that it may not be the be-all, end-all authoritative information that you think it is or you hope it to be.
Correct.
So, but if you go in with that mindset, it's good. But like I said, you got to get involved. And if you're one of those social media warriors that sit all day, doing that, then maybe cut a couple hours of that out of your day and devote that to something
We've
worthwhile.
got a lot of letter addressing and stuff like that you can do from home. If you don't want to show up, then we'll come to you.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
And this is something that all New Mexicans, I don't care if you're conservative or liberal, I don't know why we don't learn this lesson. You can't keep doing the same thing year after year and expect different results. There's no sound logic in any of that. So if you don't like that,
but when you get the results, open your eyes and realize it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're not opening their eyes and realizing that the results were there.
Exactly. So my point is, get involved.
Amen.
Pick your passions and get involved with it. Whether it's with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, or you're like, you know what, I'm going to start my own candidacy for maybe city council or mayor.
And we do a lot of other things.
Whatever.
Yeah, we do a lot of other things than that. We take gifts over to the Assurance Home and make sure dictionaries go to the middle schools south. We had a luncheon for the veterans in.
A lot of it has nothing to do with politics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we just keep going on among other things.
Yeah, and what I love too is the youth side, where you guys are working with high school age students.
Correct.
And getting them into the self-awareness of the world and how it's going to work when in a few years they're the ones making the decisions. But then you with scholarships, everything else, you're like, all right, not only are we kind of helping you kind of learn the way of the world, but we're going to provide you an opportunity to create your own foundation in it. And that's that's at the end of the day what civic organizations are so great, because they're fostering the future of our community.
And that's kind of what we're focusing on this year. This is outside of the election year. In the off year, we have our Cowboy Prom fundraiser. And that
September
helps us.
16th.
Yes, and that helps us save the date.
Save the date.
We've already got the venue and all of that.
Everything's ready except for just got to have the actual event.
Well, we're thinking of one in March too, and hopefully it's going to be a fish broil, a crawfish broil.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody's had that. Let's see. They have
I've heard fish fries.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
They have that with one. I think the Assumption Catholic Church.
Oh yeah.
But this is just going to be a fish broil and kind of a midterm just for fun, just a cabin fever type deal.
Get out and get together and enjoy some crawdads, and are people in this area familiar with cooking them?
Well, so it's going to be at the Civic Center, and we have
the two chefs there now.
One of the chefs is
they got a little Creole in them.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Oh, he's got. So he was born with a crawfish in his mouth.
Exactly.
I got you. He comes out saying, "Ooh, Daddy."
So we'll have more.
We're not sure on that one.
We'll have more information.
More to come in, but that'll be in the spring or late winter there. So
thought. I'm the fundraiser chair, so that was a thought.
Well, and we're at that point where we're now saying, hey, if you want to come and be involved, these are some of the things we've got planned here in the next several months.
Yeah.
And obviously, at the same time, you kind of. You're also plugged into the tea leaves of the state and the party, and you're like, okay, well, what is the Republican Party going to do here next election cycle? Well, now you can kind of see that evolution happen in real time a little bit here. So, and then of course,
there's so many ways, someone can get involved. Coming to our meetings, that's just like the first level, but there's so many things that people can do, more in depth with us, and also the Republican Party of Chaves County. I know that we're closing up headquarters this month, or we did, but we're still going to have monthly meetings. Generally, that's, I think in the past 2 years, it's been at the Liberty.
You guys get lean during the non-election cycle, and then kind of fatten up at the time of the election season. That's if things are going on. It's just the temp people kind of go back to their lives, and the core kind of keep doing the charity work. And,
correct.
And then with the actual party politics, grooming and getting the next candidates for the next election cycle here. Yeah. So,
And if you want to be a candidate, you can be.
I encourage it.
Just step right up and we'll help you and direct you where you need to go to be a candidate.
Absolutely. And now, obviously, when it comes to partisan politics, it's county on up for the...
Correct.
So everything city level is nonpartisan. So, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't be involved with... right. That doesn't mean you can't be involved with it, but per se, they don't officially get involved in those elections. But,
Right.
But when it comes to county commissioner on up, it's all... you have to be registered with a party or not with a party, but it's partisan politics.
Correct.
So, but and that's I think state level is at really the level where you can do state representatives and things. We got some good ones here and things like that. But grooming. I'm not gonna lie. The people we have representing us aren't going to be doing this forever.
Correct.
At some point, they're gonna wash their hands of this garbage and go back to their lives. And we need the next generation of people to keep that fight going and hopefully spread it. I say this 100 times on this show. I mean, yes, I lean conservative in my own personal life. I just want to get this state back to the middle. I just want it to where there's actual checks and balances, actual debate, actual, hearing of both sides of an argument on something. We've lost all of that because there's nobody of any kind of power to put up any resistance because we've been liberal since... I say this, go to Lincoln County and read all the signs in the town of Lincoln. When you go through and you read all the Billy the Kid stuff, just read the signs. And it talks about the government dealings and who begat this and where this came from. And it's a complete S show. It is complete garbage. And the state has been doing that long before. And it's just the history. Follow the history. And then you can understand. Once you do that, you're like, no wonder this place is such a garbage show every year, and so we got to change that. And how do you change it? By grassroots. You start going in, start getting more people that like-minded to start running for our state legislature. We got governor, and they're doing that. State legislature's done all kinds of damage. That's where you need to do your fixing. We need to get it back to the middle. At least have it so there's a conservative voice that's got a little teeth.
And you have to have the passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of believe in term limits because some have been there long enough.
I very much believe in it.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
Personally, if I was, and this is me getting on a soapbox, but if I ended up being president or in charge one day, first thing I'd do is go into Congress and say, you will put term limits, and if you're not for that, then I'm going to fight it on it. And then I would go into committees, how they select committees, who gets to select who gets in the committees, and all of that would be called to the carpet because that's where the real damage is done.
Correct. We don't need kings.
Yeah.
Or queens.
Yeah, exactly. So, and all that goes on under the nose of the public.
And it's all about the citizens, and that's what's not being understood. It's the citizens. It's not your profit. It's not your pocket. It's not your business. It is the citizens and the citizens of the state or the town that that's why you volunteer and why you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that should be why you do things.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, exactly. And we need to remind everybody of that because let's be honest, we live in a world where, especially young people, they're going to assume differently because that's not what the world looks like.
Well, and
right
I think
now.
that's one of the problems that we face. Is with trying to get young people involved because when you are dealing. And there's something to be said about continuity. I totally believe that. So, but 30 years is too much.
I've heard that experience argument, and I go back and I say, experience in what?
Right.
Experience in doing the shenanigans and to learn the shenanigans that y'all have been doing? No. Congress in whether it's state or federal level, is not designed to be a bunch of people that have spent their whole life in public office.
Correct.
It's just not. You're supposed to take your life experience and expertise and bring it to Congress and use that to rule. And that's why when we talk about committees and then, the Energy Committee and so, whoever's back you scratch, you get on. No, it should, states that are predominant energy producing states, their representatives should be the ones sitting on those committees, in my opinion.
I agree.
Not based on how many years you've been in Congress or who's in power and who butters up to the speaker better.
Yes.
And that's how it works now.
Yes.
And this is both sides that do this. It's not just one or the other. This is something that both parties are very, very active participants in, and we gotta correct that. That creates more damage.
To start at home.
Yeah.
Everything starts at home, and that's where we're falling down in our generation.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we say that. I think I've said this before here.
I've said it 100 times, so yeah, probably.
But
it's okay.
you have a more mature generation, the older generation saying young kids or the younger generations don't get involved, or whatever, and that's true to an extent. But I mean,
they're involved. They
don't let them get involved.
Yeah.
They don't let them get involved.
Sure.
Well, and that's the then you
know
have
what you're talking about.
Right.
Sit in the corner. And
so
color.
you have I've seen it even here locally where you have younger candidates and they're basically said it's not your turn.
You're discredited a little.
Yeah.
Wait till let the adults
Wait
handle
your
it,
turn.
and we'll groom you up. And,
so then, who wants to get involved when you're not number one taken seriously or considered relevant or considered so here we are. We have I'm in this. I'm actually one of the younger ones involved in things, and I'm not young at all. And
You're young. You're me. I'm going to call you.
I would say, isn't 40 and above middle aged? I mean, I'm not that young.
Yeah.
And so
40 is a lot younger than it used to be, mentally.
Yeah.
I'm 40 and I'm a soup sandwich up there. I'm a mental basket case. So I'm almost 50.
I got you both beat.
Yeah.
So, we have this dilemma, and so
I don't think you're old.
Well, and they're from the outside. You look in and you see the ones that are whipped and flogged and thrown under the bus, and you're like, why do I want to
go through that gauntlet, right?
I could just retire and go through my life and ignore the whole thing. Why do I want to go through that?
And people are counting on that, I think. I think people are like, if I make it such a pain in the butt, people wash their hands of it, and then I do what I want.
But then we care for the city. Been here my whole life, same house.
And that's the point I always like to make. Yes, we all disagree on stuff, and especially at the city level, here. We all disagree, and yes, it's the most partisan, nonpartisan stuff I've ever heard. But
yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, we all want a good community, I think. You know what I mean? And I think, we all disagree on what that means per se and things. And I just, if we all remember, okay, at the end of the day, we all here because we care about this community, and we can put aside the petty garbage and the personality issues that happen, be adults about things, and let's figure it out. Now, okay, don't go to a Christmas party together, fine.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sitting at a council meeting or whatever meeting that's happening, you act like an adult and do adult things.
If you say so.
Okay, don't have a beer afterwards at the bar, fine. Y'all don't want to shake hands after, fine. But we're going to talk because people put you here to do that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's and at the end of the day, and this is something Americans have to remember, every person you elect into office works for you.
Amen.
You don't put them on pedestals and yes, they are in positions of leadership, and God, I hope they do what they're supposed to do with that. But having power and without leadership is a bad problem.
Amen.
And I've taken enough leadership Roswell classes that I kind of figured that one out before there, and I picked that little nugget up before then. But that's without that, and so you've got to have that leadership, and if someone is just there for the power trip and not, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
And unfortunately, the lower the level, the easier that, because let's face it, at the city level, and it's a good thing, they're not professional politicians per
Correct.
se. They're people that run they're your church pastors. They're the guy that runs the hardware store. You know what I mean?
You would hope so.
Yeah, and as it should be. And so with that comes a bit of, all right, we're not up on our Robert's rules here, or we're not, but at the same time, that doesn't mean, all right, you're either on my team or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset we're in now.
Yes.
Well, it's sad, but I I mean, I know we're totally off of what the Republican women do, but
we do.
just looking out
No,
there.
on this show, we got off topic. What happened?
Politically, it you see it a lot with the like the liberal side of things, canceling this cancel culture. But here, locally, it's also that way.
It is. I can see what you're talking about. Absolutely.
It goes both ways. And so that's sad to me.
And to be on the end of the day, that's why I do this show. And I don't care how wackadoo you are, I will give you a fair shot on here.
Yes, you're very fair about that.
And because at the end of the day, my job is to give people the information, let you figure out what you think's good and what you think.
Exactly.
I will be happy to tell you my opinion.
Yeah.
I have them, but at the end of the day, you do you.
Yeah.
And I just want to give you the information.
And that's what makes America.
Exactly. That's exactly
That's what
my
makes the
point.
melting pot of the
So
world.
I don't care how wackadoo you are. Don't be scared to come on my show. I will be nice and treat you well. Well, I make fun of you probably over it.
Sure.
I make no promises, but I will give you a fair shake on this show.
There you go. There you go.
But come out to the next meeting
Yes.
for the Chaves County Federal Republic. It'll be next Wednesday.
Correct.
1 week from today at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. About
Our doors open at 11:30.
11:30.
If you want a meal, it's $16.
What's do you know the menu for?
It's a traditional
Yeah.
traditional Christmas
Okay.
ham.
Okay, going
Taters.
ham and
ham, taters,
pie,
some kind of green bean situation or some kind of green thing.
some kind of vegetable.
Yeah.
Some kind of cranberry thing.
Exactly. That's always my deal as a menu, and after 12 months, it's hard to come up with something.
All right. Well, yeah, you got
Yeah.
and Christmas too, and you want turkey and ham.
But turkey's expensive.
And let's face it, by the time Christmas rolls around, you're kind of turkeyed out. You're kind of like,
Exactly.
dude, let's do Mexican food.
Yeah, exactly. I'll remember that next year.
Yeah, I don't know. A couple Christmases we did what we called Mexican pile-on. Everyone brings a Mexican dish, and we had enchiladas and burritos and tacos
There you
and Lord, everything Mexican. It was delightful.
There you go.
So, but come out to the next meeting and come, like you said, you're going to meet some of the leadership of the Republican Party in New Mexico.
Correct.
The new leadership, or
Rehash,
Yeah,
yeah.
the 2023 leadership of
And
the
you'll meet
Republican.
our new board.
Yeah, and come
Yeah.
in, and then because you're going to make the new board
We're gonna
or
make
the
the
new
new board.
officers and everything here. So, I mean, obviously, maybe first crack they're not going to make you an officer, but if you want to come and be a part of
Yes.
it, come out to next Wednesday. Come volunteer, talk to any of the Chaves County Federated Republican women. Like I said, the male counterparts, typically spouses, but doesn't have to be, can serve as well as part of it. You haven't now. Do they have their own meetings and everything, or are they all just part of the?
No.
I know, like sometimes with auxiliaries and things, they'll have like their own little meetings and own agendas and things, but they all kind of just work together with it.
I make my husband sign up, right? But
No.
like our elected officials, the male elected officials, they are, they want to be a member.
Gotcha. Well, I'm saying they all want. I just didn't know if they kind of ran their own show, meetings and things.
No,
if they did it.
they kind of come and go.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll give them a responsibility,
Gotcha.
but other than that, no, not really.
I didn't know if you have an event and they say, okay, the auxiliary is going to be in charge.
No, but that's a good idea.
Of seats or whatever.
We're so
Door
used to
prizes.
working ourselves to death.
Gotcha. Yeah, delegation.
It's just easier to do it yourself.
Well, and I get it because most of you are like, I give my husband a task and he does the bare minimum to get it done. And I know, I know what you guys are really like. Trust me, some guys are like, I do it half, but I half attempt it for a reason, so they won't ask me to do it again.
Is that really?
It's a
How
two-way
that goes?
street. Oh yeah, I mean they won't admit it. Like you all won't admit what you're doing. We won't admit either. We know.
I don't know what we're doing.
We know.
We're one of the strongest federated women in New Mexico. We have, I believe, we have the largest membership.
I'd say maybe the only other area that might give you a run is probably Four Corners, maybe.
It's Farmington.
Yeah.
We're always at friendly competition with Farmington to have the most
Sure.
members.
Well, and if you look at the kind of the the map makeup there, that makes sense. You know, as far as where conservatives
Exactly.
generally reside and liberals do in the state of New Mexico.
Map is
so.
a dirty word at this point.
Yeah, which by the way, I mean, there's probably more to come on that one. I know with the lawsuits and all that, what comes of it is still to come, but it's not dead yet.
Correct.
For people that are wondering about that.
Correct.
So. But anyway, come out to the next meeting.
Yes.
You can always go to the Chaves County Federated Republican Women Facebook page.
Correct.
If you have questions or want more information, or if you lost some of the information in between our ramblings and things here, you can go back and find everything there as well.
We also are in the RDR for our luncheon,
Okay.
so there's a number there.
Okay, so
and
don't
ever hesitate to call us. I'm friendlier than most people say, so it's okay.
She's very friendly.
I don't
lady.
bite. I'm kind of like an onion, so I scare people. But that's, Margaret's gotten used to me after all these years.
Well, and it's just I get it because I understand it. I you know, it's at some point when are you gonna? All right, I want to listen to your opinion. I want to hear what you say, but at some point you're like, is there any fact based in anything you just said, or you just spewing crap out of your mouth? You know?
Exactly.
I get it, and at some point you just like, how much more do I got to deal with this before I get this be rude? I get it. But please come out to the meeting, get involved, roll up your sleeves. If you're tired of what you're seeing in Mexico, the only way you're going to make a difference is do your part.
And
roll
this
up your
is the
sleeves.
year that we find our to be elected people that want to come up and fundraise for our scholarship. Plus, we also help out the Assurance Home. We sent
actually
over
are going
200
over
cards
tomorrow.
to soldiers. Yeah.
Tomorrow we drop off stuff at the Assurance Home.
That
And-
place isn't. I love that. It's
Yeah.
it's such a different world
It's
than
a
Roswell.
savior.
Yeah,
It's a savior
It doesn't
to those
even look
babies.
like Roswell.
No.
Nothing about it reminds you of. I mean, not in a bad way, in what I mean, but it's like a whole different
And
planet
they're
there.
teaching them what they need to learn
Yeah.
that they should have learned at home,
Mhm.
but they weren't able to with the animals and the responsibility.
Sure, it's and let's face it, some people don't learn the same way.
Correct.
And what's considered tried and traditional now may not check all the boxes for some
Correct.
people, and so things like the Assurance Home and other organizations that do things very similar, you know, even your Job Corps and the stuff out by the base and all that. Youth Challenge, that's the name it wouldn't come to my head there. They do such great work providing an alternate way for these students to kind of get it, how life works, you know.
And we would love to add more to our list.
Yeah.
If somebody has a thought, call us. We'll talk it over with you and
Absolutely.
add it to our list. And
That's the whole point. Is, you
but
know,
our speakers are great this week. This coming week.
Good deal. Yeah, and so come out 11:30 next Wednesday, 1 week from today, at the Convention and Civic Center. What's the best way to RSVP? Through the Facebook or
Through our, you can do it through Facebook, but email's pretty. We have an email set up just for
RSVPing? Okay.
Mhm. And it is. I always mess this up. Sorry.
RSVP
CCFRW at Gmail.
I can see why you
So
screwed
it's
that up.
First initial of everything.
Gotcha. So just if you remember that, then you go.
Correct.
And if you don't, go to the
Or you
Facebook
can
page and it
show
should
up.
be there.
And,
Like-
and if we have an extra meal, we'll sell it to you.
Yeah, if all fairness, if you want to eat, please RSVP.
Mhm.
You know, that way you can give the chefs a heads up and you don't short anybody.
We usually have a couple plates left over, or
Yeah.
some of us won't eat.
Yeah.
I mean, we wait until everybody's seated.
Of course, there might be a few people like, no more ham, please.
Yeah.
I'll just but yeah, please. But if you do, but yeah, like you said, if you space out next Wednesday, you're like, oh man, that's today.
It doesn't matter.
Come on out. Come be a part of the meeting and come.
We have a lot that just come and sit and listen to the speakers.
Well, that's
and just have fun with the rest of the folks.
That's
Talk,
good
catch up.
reason for having it at the convention center. There's plenty of room for people to come and hear what has to be said and all
And
that
it's centrally located.
Yeah.
That's our major
Everyone
thing.
knows
It's
where
centrally located.
You don't have to give directions to the convention center. It's like at the convention. Oh, okay, I know where the convention.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mike, for having us.
Anytime, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If I don't see you again in 2022 here in the studio, and then if not, we'll see you in 2023.
Yes, sir.
Talking all about what's on the horizon for the Federated Women in 2023 here. So good deal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, 7:57. Quick commercial break. to pay bills and pay for my lunch, then news. Don't go away.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Had some hoops action last night, and the Roswell Coyotes, after suffering a 22-point loss to Carlsbad on Saturday, that was up at the Rio Rancho tournament, Roswell bounces back to get a nice victory last night over Alamogordo, 80-74. The Coyotes are now 2-3 on the season, and will next be in action tomorrow night at home against the Goddard Rockets. That's a boys-girls doubleheader. Starts with the girls at 5:30, Roswell versus Goddard. Meanwhile, the Roswell girls, in case you missed it, on Monday night, whooped up on Lovington by a score of 65-35, and that means the Coyotes heading into the big crosstown rivalry game are now 3-1 on the season. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. consumer prices rose less than expected for a second straight month in November, amid decreases in the cost of gasoline and healthcare, as well as used cars and trucks, leading to the smallest annual increase in inflation in nearly a year. U.S. central bankers began their last policy-setting meeting of the year Tuesday, with data suggesting inflation is finally cooling, allowing them to slow their interest rate hikes into next year. Travel demand is bouncing back, and United Airlines is making a bold move. United has ordered 100 new Boeing 787s to replace planes that are ready for retirement. United is also ordering the smaller Boeing 737 MAX, which is used on domestic flights. Railroad workers across England walked off the job Tuesday and starting what is expected to be a month of strikes by public service workers demanding higher pay as soaring inflation erodes living standards. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Christmas is coming, and National Furniture Liquidators in Roswell is holding a toy drive to give our little ones a happy holiday. You could drop off your toys at the shop and take advantage of amazing store-wide deals. For every toy you bring, you'll receive 10% off. So bring in 2 toys, that's 20% off. 3 toys is 30%, as much as 50% off your total purchase with 5 or more donated toys. Help put smiles on faces this Christmas and save big at the same time. Stop by National Furniture Liquidators at 203 East McGaffey in Roswell. Remember, nobody beats Shorty.
Led to more costlier borrowing rates for consumers and companies, ranging from mortgages to auto and business loans. Worries have grown that the Fed is raising rates so much in its drive to curb inflation, it will trigger a recession. Meanwhile, yesterday, the Consumer Price Index provided hopeful signs inflation is finally easing. I'm Julie Walker.
A Friday midnight deadline is looming for a partial government shutdown, a stopgap spending bill required to keep things going this weekend, while congressional negotiators continue working on a full-year funding bill for 2023. Powerful winter storm has laid down a heavy blanket of snow across the Great Plains, bringing blizzard-like conditions.
It also caused tornadoes that wrecked homes and buildings in parts of Oklahoma and Texas. Trent Kelly is a municipal official in Grapevine, a Dallas-Fort Worth suburb.
We had issues at Sam's Club here, Walmart, Discount Tire. It kind of made a narrow path through the city.
Other parts of the South face storm conditions into Wednesday. The system is expected to hobble the upper Midwest with ice, rain, and snow for days, as well as move into the Northeast and Central Appalachians with snow and freezing rain by late Wednesday.
Correspondent Norman Hall, 2 deaths in Louisiana, blamed on a tornado. Watching Wall Street, stocks higher. The Dow's up 162 points. The Nasdaq ahead 39 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
The Kremlin says there will be no marathon year-end news conference this year by Russian President Putin.
Spokesman Dmitry Peskov has confirmed Putin would not be holding the annual event this month for the first time in 10 years. Peskov didn't comment on the reason behind it, but many commentators attribute it to the Kremlin's uneasiness about facing possibly unpleasant questions regarding what it calls Russia's special military operation in Ukraine. The British Defence Ministry observes the Kremlin fears that the event could be hijacked by unsanctioned discussion about the war. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
UK inflation eased a bit last month as gas and diesel prices rose more slowly than in the previous month. Britain's consumer price index rose 10.7% in the 12 months through November. That was down from a 41-year high of 11.1% for the month of October. News and analysis at townhall.com. Troubling discovery in a high school triggers a lawsuit in Vermont.
The school board in Burlington suing chemical giant Monsanto after PCBs were found during renovations in the existing building. A new school will be built at a cost of $190 million. Right now, Burlington High School students attending classes in a renovated Macy's department store. Last month, city voters approved a $165 million bond to help pay for the new school. Jason Walker reporting.
They've been partying in the streets of Argentina as the national team beat Croatia 3-0, earning the soccer craze American country a spot in the upcoming World Cup final. Fans poured onto the streets of the capital, Buenos Aires, just as soon as that match wrapped up. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The Deuce. Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. You didn't watch Buster's Drug, did you?
Huh? No.
Oh,
no.
But maybe you got
No,
inspired.
I was a little busy last night.
Watching wrestling?
No, actually,
that's tonight's wrestling.
Yeah, well, usually, yeah, but I think tonight I'm actually gonna go build gingerbread houses with the kids.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do that over at Mom's house tonight.
Oh, nice. So are the gingerbread houses made? You just get to decorate, or
So,
you actually building?
as I understand it, the gingerbread houses will have been made by the time I get there.
So they'll be
the construction part is not the part that I'm going to help with. which
Gotcha. So they'll
probably
have
for the best.
the walls and the roof.
Yeah.
You just got to put the
I'm just there
gumdrop
for the
trimming
deco.
and all the candy windows and all that.
Mhm.
Nice.
I'm surprised they haven't done like Adobe gingerbread houses yet. Maybe they're out there, but I just haven't seen them. Where you got to put on like the brown sugar stucco, stuff like that, you know?
I think it's out there, but it may require a trickier gingerbread.
I wouldn't think so
construction.
because it would just be more square.
Although I think
you wouldn't put a pitched roof on top of it. That's basically it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still got rounded edges and things, and
That's
that might be
true.
a little trickier with gingerbread. You'd have to do a lot of fondant or whatever they do to
maybe
make it all rounded. Because you know you kind of want that. You don't want it boxy like Adobe. How
Well,
they
see,
kind of
but
have more of a rounded
I'm thinking
flare.
if you, even if it's a little boxier,
Mhm.
you could do like, pretzel rods for like the wooden slats that usually are sticking out of the sides. And
Yeah.
you can actually like
or licorice.
Or licorice, yeah. If you wanna
Doesn't
do
have to
the
be
candy
structurally sound.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to stick to the sweet, basically. Usually gingerbread houses go sweet.
Sure, but I'm going sweet and savory because that seems to be the the
Chocolate
going
covered
trend.
pretzel rods.
See, that would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or pretzel rods and then stick them on with a dab of chocolate.
As a
Adherent,
glue or
yeah.
adherent. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Yeah. But that's just it. No one likes gingerbread that much.
Yeah, it's true. I can't think of a single person that's ever built a gingerbread house and then eaten said house.
Yeah. I mean, people that will eat a gingerbread cookie every now and then, but for the most part, people don't crave gingerbread.
You want to be a savage. You want to really be like go. I'm using now. This is the Oxford Dictionary said their word of the year or phrase of the year: goblin mode. So you want to go full goblin? I know, right? You want to go full goblin mode on your family this Christmas. Wait until they get their gingerbread house built, and then just walk up and take a gigantic bite out of it.
So that's called goblin mode?
No, that's not. Goblin mode is what they say when like you basically shut off the rest of the world and just live like a goblin essentially. Don't
How
leave the
goblins
house.
live?
I don't know. It's really stupid because some
Yeah,
kid on the internet said goblin mode like middle of the year, and now the Oxford English Dictionary says goblin mode is their word of the year. I'm like, nobody uses that.
I wish they'd follow me around.
Maybe-
I have a whole new dictionary by the time I'm done.
Maybe the Oxford English Dictionary is doing to us what the Merriam-Webster's Dictionary word of the year is. Maybe they're gaslighting us.
Possibly.
Something to think about.
Well, I gaslight people in goblin mode.
It's like I can't even really put a textbook definition, and from what I understand,
I feel like that's like
their definition wasn't even accurate.
like goblin mode. When I hear that, I'm like, is that like some power pill you eat in some game to make you like Mr. Pac-Man? Getting the ghost. That's what I hear when I
It
hear
is
that.
a neologism for the rejection of societal expectations and the act of living in an unkempt, hedonistic manner without concern for one's self-image.
That sounds like me.
There you go.
I might be in goblin mode because I have a modicum of care.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
your sweatpants on a Tuesday.
I just don't. I do not. How I dress and how I live my life, I do it by my rules, not by what people think I should.
Right, but hedonistic?
Yeah, I'm not hedonistic.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
No, that does not describe me.
Yeah, you're not. You're not like sitting there being fed grapes, by your concubines or whatever.
Although,
I don't judge what you do on the weekends. If that's how you choose to live your life.
That's not a bad idea. Let me write that down.
Hedonism. That's actually an event. I think it's called Hedonism 2.
Is it? Electric Boogaloo?
I think so. I've just heard of people saying, let's go to hedonism. You want to go to hedonism? I'm like, that's an event?
I guess so.
That sounds, not going to lie, that kind of sounds awesome.
I did see that in the 90s, that Rosie O'Donnell movie where she goes to that hedon camp, or what was that movie called? East of Eden?
Oh, Really? Is that
Dana
what that was
Delaney,
about?
it was a comedy with Rosie O'Donnell, and I think Dana Delaney was in it, if you remember that name from the 90s.
do.
I think it was called East Eden or something to Eden, some with Eden in it.
Okay, Hedonism 2 is the world's most famous clothing-optional resort and adult playground in Negril, Jamaica.
Oh. So it's like...
all-inclusive, all fun.
So it's like naughty Burning Man?
Yeah, basically. Just
I can say dirty Burning Man because that's not accurate at all because I've seen Burning Man and they're all filthy.
On January 9th, 2023... Oh, stop it. Quick move. Where'd you go? It just said on January 9th, 2023, they're having a big event. It's flashing. It's not that kind of flashing. It's flashing for your event. On January 9th, 2023, join hundreds of Hedo enthusiasts, former guests, and other sex-positive people from all over the world for an event called the 2023 Hedo Vacay. Get your tickets now, kids.
Yeah, I'm not that. I'm out. I'm out. I just wanted someone to feed me some food.
Good luck, everybody else.
I just want someone to put like cake pops in my mouth while I'm sitting on a Shea Lounge or something. That's all I wanted. Now we're getting weird.
Yeah, I didn't know hedonism was going to get this weird, man.
Check it. I'm out on that. The other goblin mode stuff I'm down with, but I'm out on the hedonistic.
Now, let's see a segue from hedonism to, I guess.
To me, that seems counterproductive.
Hedonism?
Hedonism with the goblin mode.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't care what you look like or what you're about, and I'm generally thinking hedonistic people, they like to be in nude because they think they're kind of look good in the nude.
Yeah.
Like I think that they think this is their. So I don't think one that is in goblin mode would be open to just walk around naked with other people in a.
Now you say that.
Yeah.
But I also am privy to and familiar with the fact that most nude enthusiasts tend to be older, like 50s, 60s,
You're right.
70s.
Yes.
You want to talk about some goblins.
But not all.
Not all of them. No,
Yeah.
no.
Some of them were young nudists, then are now old nudists.
Sure, there are some gilfs out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
God bless those people. You live your life, you do your thing, you're happy, good for you. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that would sound more uncomfortable to me than sitting naked at, let's just say, a little cocktail lounge.
Yeah.
Having a beverage, just casually talking about life and living your life while you're butt naked.
It's odd. It feels very odd. It's not something you would go to fondue night.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's granted a lot less decision-making skills. What party dress I'm wearing don't matter.
Right.
I guess maybe the one fashion choice is, which I hope is a fashion choice, is what towel that accompanies with you. Mm-hmm. Because I'm pretty sure that they have some kind of social graces, and I'm guessing bare butt on seats is probably
I would think
a faux pas.
That's probably a faux pas.
I'm thinking they're saying, you know what, bring a towel,
Well, depending upon how confident you are.
Yeah. But I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just rubbing skin on all kind of stuff. But I think like if they're at these places, it's not a sexual thing. So they're like, dude,
yeah, right.
Respect the place. Don't be sitting your bare butt on my chair.
That or the sanitization team at Hedonism 2 is second to none.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be one of those two things.
Based off recent experiences, I see a whole lot of bad things happening there.
I'm curious if Hedonism 2 closed down for COVID, or do they just mask up?
Please say they just mask up, because how funny would that image be? All right, let's move on. Superintendent Brian Luck is going to join us here in just a few minutes. And then we'll get an update on what happened at the last school board meeting and everything else. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure parking over the Four Corners with fairly cool air, but we'll get pretty nice weather over the next couple of days. Still windy today with a few gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine, though, at our high in the low to mid 50s. We'll be in the upper 20s and clear for the overnight hours. Looks like low to mid 50s again on Thursday. Not as windy, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. A little cooler on Friday, mid 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 39 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 38%. Winds currently out of the west at 10 miles per hour. Sunny today. Expect a high of 54. Winds will be out of the northwest 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. So winds will remain with us today. Tonight, clear skies. Overnight low of 25. Winds calming down out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 52, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 25. Winds out of the southwest at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, we're not getting to the 50s. Mostly sunny, 45 for a high on Friday with north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then looking at the weekend, sunny 48 for Saturday and partly cloudy and 52 on Sunday. Let's see. It is 18 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we're going to have Brian Luck, superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Pressure Services LLC in Artesia has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL or Class D CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and be at least 25 years of age. All positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screen. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contributions toward health benefits. Please apply in person at 402 West Main in Artesia, inside the AIDS Safety Facility. Equal Opportunity Employer.
When Rhonda was experiencing severe abdominal pain, she knew she could count on Artesia General Hospital's emergency department to provide critical care any time of day or night.
I didn't think twice about driving the 45 minutes from my home to Artesia's ER. I felt like I was their only patient. Excellent care from everyone, and I'm thankful beyond measure.
Each year, thousands of patients trust Artesia General Hospital with their health emergency. With specialty certifications in advanced adult and pediatric life support and trauma care, their emergency room physicians have the experience you need when every second counts. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/emergency.
Christmas is coming, and National Furniture Liquidators in Roswell is holding a toy drive to give our little ones a happy holiday. You could drop off your toys at the shop and take advantage of amazing store-wide deals. For every toy you bring, you'll receive 10% off. So bring in 2 toys, that's 20% off. 3 toys is 30%, as much as 50% off your total purchase with 5 or more donated toys. Help put smiles on faces this Christmas and save big at the same time. Stop by National Furniture Liquidators at 203 East McGaffey in Roswell. Remember, nobody beats Shorty.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
The 2022 basketball season is underway for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets, and the place to go to catch all of it is KSVPTV.com.
Goddard, a little pressure here in the half court, and they force the turnover. Great job.
Head for KSVPTV.com and click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab to see it all. KSVPTV.com, Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
You know what? We're making it, baby.
Good deal. I know families are excited. Teachers are excited. We're getting ready to go into the holiday break here.
Yes, sir.
Things wrap up, I guess, Friday for most everybody here as far as the, for the holiday break here. So
yes, sir.
So next week, parents, kids are all on you.
Yes. We the way the calendar works, every so often you have this break,
sure,
where you've got a lot of time front loaded.
Mm-hmm. Because you guys are going back like pretty early in 23 on this one.
Teachers go back on the 2nd,
yeah,
kids go back on the 3rd,
which is a little surprising
yes,
for most people. But the way the calendar lines up, it makes sense.
It was a nice 2-week break.
Yeah.
And then one of the things we'll talk about later is next year's calendar. And next year's calendar has us getting out with Christmas on a Monday. We get out that Friday. And there's a lot of people that have said, well, that's not a lot of time to travel. And as my comment,
so it's going to be backloaded on next year.
Yes. And it is, as a teacher, I really liked that one because, man, this year January is going to feel like its own semester by itself.
It's going to be, because let's face it, that's a dry spell for holidays for the most part too. I mean, you got President's Day and some of those there in those first 2 months of the year, but for the most part, it's not a lot going on till around Easter, springtime.
It's a haul.
Yeah.
I mean, you get everybody back and get to going, and it's cold, and it's January.
It's
and
the grind
school.
of the school year is
and
right after the break.
I love every bit of that grind being back in person.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's a normal grind.
It is a normal.
Kids in classrooms, and then you got, of course, it's kind of a busy time for extracurricular activities. Football's done, but basketball rolls in, and then, of course, a lot of the band and FFA and a lot of their events
Judging.
take place during that time, too.
I'm pretty sure there's a basketball game every 45 minutes.
It feels like
somewhere in Roswell during that time frame, and our officials would probably say the same thing. So
yes,
there's a lot going on, and we're just again getting back into the grind, and just it feels so good to be coming up to a normal Christmas break.
Yeah,
whatever normal looks like now, but it's you can count on it.
Absolutely,
we're having it. We have early dismissal Friday, so
yes,
we're out at 1:30, and parents, we're looking forward to you getting to spend some time with your kids.
Yeah,
and they are too, and our teachers. What a much needed break, and getting to spend time with their families, and
sure,
and hopefully getting over this sickness.
I was about to say, I know,
Gosh.
I just know from my wife's own classroom and things, and I mean, certain days they're down to like 50% classroom, just because of the 3 different things going around right now.
Well,
it's COVID and flu and the whatever that other initial thing is that's going on.
It's RSV.
RSV,
but I think you could insert any initials you wanted to this week. And it's interesting this year because it's everybody's still got that COVID kind of in the back of their mind. So when we roll up and we'll had a lot of the flu, and you do what you can, you treat it.
Sure.
Our doctors are doing as good as they can.
I recommend get your flu shots. Those flu shots, there's enough evidence and years of proving where even if they don't nail the right strain every year, it gives you a pretty good modicum of protection against. So, yeah, you still might get flu, but it turns out to be a cold more than a flu, which I'll take that over a flu.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've talked to several people, and my house was no different.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us, and we all got it at the same time. And, we were joking. It's like, well, now maybe we can enjoy Christmas.
Sure. I mean, I know people in the controversy of the COVID shot and all that, yes. Do what you do best for you, but the flu shot, I could safely say, they've got enough stuff around on that. It is a good idea for especially if you're one that gets sick every year. Get that flu shot. That way, that's one less thing you got to worry about.
Some of the smaller districts that don't have the substitute resources that we've had, have had to take a day or two here and there. We've been very fortunate. We mentioned last night at the board meeting that we've had we've had certain weeks where we've averaged in the 90% fill rate with substitutes. I mean, that was unheard of 2 years ago.
And that's what I tell Kim, my wife. She comes in, she goes, yeah, there was only like 50% of the class in today. The rest were out sick. And that's a big number for when you say a class of, say, 20 kids.
Sure.
Half of them, there's 10 kids in a classroom, because that's a big notice.
Well, it is. But again, back to the one a minute ago, it's normal.
Sure. But what you guys are seeing is not so much COVID, right? It's more flu and the RSV or whatever it is. Yeah.
You're just sick.
Yeah, it's just the crud. It's what happens every time around this year.
And it's interesting. I still didn't want to get it. But did my time with it.
I did too. I had the cold and all that. I had no voice there for a week or so. And yeah, it was my wife goes, and it's, I know what's going on with the school and sick wise, because I get everything. Whatever happens, my wife brings to me, and so it's been going on for 20 years.
Yes, sir.
I'm very aware of it. So odds are pretty good. And this time of year, I've usually got a sniffle or something almost every year.
So my mother was a teacher. Yeah. So same thing. Usually you would know it's the end of August, start of September, because there would be strep throat or something. And then, and you're right, it rotates through.
Yeah.
But the neat thing about that, like for our family, it would go through, and then
you deal with it and move on.
We deal with it and go on to the next thing.
And a lot of people, I think, are now in that mode now, which is a good thing to hear and see. And yeah, obviously, do your best. Mitigate. If your kid's sick, stay home.
Yes.
Do all the proper things. Wash your hands. Do your stuff. But we're moving forward. We're going to get stuff. And if your child has to be out for an extended period, get with your teachers. Get the makeup work. Get them. If they're at home, get with them so that they can maybe work on some of the stuff at home while they're recuperating. Obviously, if they feel up for it and things. But yeah. So just have a plan. That's all you can do.
We had our secondary schools do robocalls the other day, just reminding parents just what you said. Yes, finals are important, but we have makeup plans. And, we don't need you walking into the building with 142 fever. Yeah. And we recognize that, and we're still open later.
And that's something that maybe we as a society have to kind of take a look at, because I know, and you're right there experiencing it too, as we grow up, as we, decide to put us in places of responsibility, through that whole time, there's always been that mindset of toughness and like, oh, I got a cold, I'll muscle through it, I'll soldier through whatever. Oh, I got the flu, I can still come in and do some work, and that's in my mindset too.
Guilty.
So I understand it. But at the same time, we as a society need to say, no, I appreciate your work ethic, but you're doing more harm than good by coming in. Just stay home, and we'll deal with it. Maybe and maybe that's something we as a society have to get a little bit better on, changing that ideology a little bit, because it's absolutely true, and it's certainly in the case in schools here. I get it.
Yep.
We want to make sure our kids, but there's ways to get that to them. We've proven that through COVID, if nothing else, that where there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure it out.
Right.
The important thing is you're healthy and
Absolutely.
and able to live to fight another day.
That's yes.
Yeah. So, well, that being said, last night was, I guess you could say, the final board meeting of 2022. For the,
I hope so. I hope we don't have
knock on wood. It's the final board meeting of 2022.
Yes, sir.
So generally, are these quieter meetings because holidays? People have a little bit of holiday-itis going on, so people are like, all right, we'll worry about that in the new year, kind of thing. Or is it the opposite? I got 70 things we got to get done because the end of the year is now. I mean, I could see it go either way there.
One thing that's been fairly consistent with our meetings over the last 13, 14 months is we've tried to highlight our buildings. And so at the beginning of our meetings, after recognitions, we'll have report outs.
Gotcha.
We call them 90-day presentations. And last night we had something that had never been done, which is our two larger high schools, Roswell High and Goddard High School, report out. And so it was really neat for me as a former secondary guy to get to live back in that environment. And those are, we tell them 10 minutes, and it's funny because we know they can't do it in 10 minutes.
Sure.
But they talked about it.
But it's more of a reminder of like, Brevity is your friend here. Let's keep it brief, but it's thorough.
Well, and they did.
Yeah.
But it does open the door for a lot of conversations, and then, then we'll conduct business. So we've averaged about 2.5 hours for board meetings for quite a while now.
Sure.
And it goes back to just making sure that we do our diligence.
Mm-hmm.
But when you front load most of your meetings with a 30-minute presentation, at least one, it
does eat up some time.
It does kind of set the tone for you're going to be there a while.
Sure. But it's all good stuff. It's all needed and good information. It's done because it's needed.
It informs not only the school board, but also the public. If people watch or when people ask, you have the ability to answer, whether that's your level or not.
Well, and let's face it, our school board members, they're all dedicated individuals. They spend time in schools and classrooms. They do visit, but they can't see and hear everything.
Right.
They just can't. They're human beings. They can only be in so many places at one time, and so for them to make decisions on what's best for the district. These reports are a vital lifeline for them to understand. How to, in what direction to go on decisions and things. So.
Well, I don't think the general public totally realizes how much time a school board member puts into this non-paying job.
Sure.
I mean, they get calls all the time.
And if they're not retired, they got day jobs they got to worry about.
That other job that keeps kicking in, and they're invited to things, and they go to meetings, and they go to trainings, and they have to give up their time from work to go. Like we had one in Albuquerque a few weeks ago, and it is a labor of love, and we want them as informed as possible.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing about this particular board that we've got now, they're going to hold accountable. And so when they say we want to see this, they follow up on that, and it's very nice.
Because that's what they're supposed to do, and it's nice to see that.
It is, and
it's nice when the according to Hannibal Smith, I love it when a plan comes together. That's exactly what's going on.
Well, and the taxpayer dollar, we value that, and not just the way that it sounds. I mean, it's important to me that my staff and my teachers realize that, there are people in our community working 2 or 3 jobs, so that we can have a job to do what we do.
Well, and we're very thankful because I was watching the news last night. Now this doesn't impact Roswell, but it's schools, and I'm like, we're not in those shoes. Rio Rancho was on the news last night. Basically, they're in dire need of maintenance on some of their high schools and things. And basically, they've got a problem of they need and I'm just making up the numbers, but just to give you a general consensus, they need like $100 million, and they got about $5 million to do it. And our RASD has been very good stewards of the money and things, and because of that, we don't have those situations here. I mean, they always want more money, and we're trying to make lemons out of lemon or lemonade out of lemons here, but at the same time, there's not a lack of want because they're, you know what I mean, to that level, and so I credit yourself, the superintendent, and that entire board. And boards of past too,
right?
For doing that and being those good stewards, because you know how hard it is to run a district when they don't have the bare minimum things they need to do that, and it sounds like that can got kicked down the curb a little too long, and now they're paying for it. So we don't have those problems not anymore. I mean, that was a very big problem 20 years ago where they had to play catch, but the district is almost caught up. Almost. I think there's still a few I's to dot there, but you guys have finally kind of gotten out of that era a little bit.
It's interesting. We've got Nancy Lopez, Washington Avenue, and Mountain View, and then we would have hit every school minus the 2 big high schools, and then those come down the road. But that's been the vision of the superintendents and the board prior to me. That consistency has stayed.
Yeah.
So we've got, our plans are down the road. They're in place, and we need to finish. But no, Roswell's been pretty blessed with good leadership. And I want to credit, our financial department there at the district, that it is there's been a level of consistency there and just good fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there in case people saw the same story I did on the news last night about Rio Rancho. I'm like, this is one of those moments you're like, count your blessings on we have good people doing good things here, because
it is.
That's the kind of stuff that happens when you don't. And I hate to see that for Rio Rancho and stuff, but they're going to have to right that ship some way, somehow. But we're moving on to other things here. We don't have to worry about that. No. That's a good thing.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's all I was pointing at. So, anyway, so obviously a few presentations at the beginning of the meeting last night.
Honored the Goddard Rocket volleyball state champs.
Nice.
Really neat for that. I had a little personal note to that. My daughter's on that
That's
team.
right. Your daughter was, and by the way, I heard her name quite a bit while sitting here listening to the radio and hearing the contribution. She was one of the leaders on that team. That was, she's very much. I mean, every single girl on that team is the reason why they got a blue trophy. But she did her share as well to bring home that blue trophy.
I tell you what, going through it on this side, because I've been at the high school level on my entire career, other than the last two here at Central Office, and I've watched state championship teams, and I got to watch parents participate, and I got to watch kids from freshmen all the way up, and getting to see it from the other side. I never realized the impact that would have, and our senior parents especially, in how that, the culmination of years and years, and I mean, we were very fortunate that the team got to win state.
Sure.
But even just,
I'm curious, are they Cedar and Layden?
Yes.
They're going to be a pretty new team next year.
Should be.
Gotcha.
Should be.
Okay.
And like Roswell High volleyball, or the two football teams or the soccer teams, until you're a parent and you watch a senior play their last game, regardless when that is, where that is, for what level, and the majority of them, that's the last time they're gonna suit up. That's a heavy duty emotional moment.
I can imagine. I never
everybody.
thought about it till obviously as a player you think of it in certain terms, but no one thinks of the parents.
Right.
It's like, and I imagine it's that mixed blessing, but because you're sad that you're not going to get to see any more games and stuff, but you're obviously happy that it's a milestone in my child's life. They're moving on to that next phase to become adults. And this is a good thing. It's sad to see my little girl go, but at the same time, it's and don't get me wrong. Usually, especially if you're at a championship level teams, these parents have spent many a Saturday and Sunday sitting in some cold field or some empty gym watching their kids play every week, and sometimes we can't go on vacation because we got a volleyball tournament, or we got a baseball tournament, or we got a soccer tournament, or whatever it is, and so there's probably that mixed bag of, the parents like, our time just got so much freer now that they're done with sports, and so it's a whole wave of emotions. But yeah, initially it's that my little girl's not a little girl anymore.
Yep.
Crap, I'm old.
Well, I've decided I'm not going to get old. I'll just have anniversaries of past birthdays.
There you go. I'm perpetually 35 for the rest of my life.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that. As a school employee, you don't age. You don't.
This is true.
At the high school level, I was 18 for 20 years, 22 years. And you when you leave that environment, you grow up instantaneously.
Yeah.
So no, we were pretty excited about that.
Good.
Pretty excited that for all of our fall athletes. And getting to wrap up.
Oh yeah, football, cross country, every single athlete soccer, everyone, all the teams. We're so proud of every one of it. Roswell, Goddard, Gateway, all the schools, private, doesn't matter. We appreciate everyone.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring up Gateway. They were on a court 2 over from us, and they were playing their state championship game. So if there was a break in our action, the fans were cheering across the facility.
Yeah, hey, there's some local
likewise,
kids.
And it was pretty neat to see that. So.
It is kind of a us locals versus the world kind of mindset anytime you get to a state playoff.
It is whenever you cross.
Yeah, and it don't matter what sport it is, whether it's basketball or volleyball or football, there's that mindset.
No, and
You see it more often in basketball and volleyball because it's those tournament styles, and volleyball particularly, where there's multiple teams playing in a, by the time football obviously it doesn't go that way, and I'm not sure if the basketball state playoffs do they have their own courts or do they divide the court on? I couldn't remember on that one.
That's at the pit, and if you've never done one of those, that is an experience.
I'm always hearing the radio getting it on the air, so I'm never physically there. I'm always
it's
the one
an environment.
putting it back on here. So.
New Mexico State Basketball Championships is one of the best in the nation.
Yeah.
The pit, it's just something you have to experience.
Yeah. So just wish they had better internet. That's my own little.
I'll talk to him about that.
Or better access to it.
I just wish they'd let Gene do it.
I know, right? We've been saying that.
Yes, I think I've heard that.
But at least we got a way better chance of you seeing it. But anyway,
that's right.
Sorry, I should keep to
We're
myself
good.
on those things. That's another conversation for another day. But so back to the meeting here, kind of wrangle it back in. So after we honored the volleyball team and stuff, what's next?
We talked community schools presentation.
Okay.
We have one community school that's up and running right now, which is Sierra Middle School.
Okay.
We received approval and award letters for Mesa Middle School and for University High School. So our the lady that's in charge of Sierra talked a little bit about our grant, talked a little bit about what's coming up with that. So we were super excited about that.
Great.
And then had our 90-day presentations with our two high schools.
Okay.
Big things coming, nothing new. We talked a lot about career technical and.
Is it kind of like a state of the union type of
a little bit
for each school to the board kind of thing?
It tells them we've had data presentations in the past, and they don't need that. They can pull up a spreadsheet and see the school's data. What our board's after is tell me what you're doing.
Gotcha.
And
they want to know the physical.
Yes.
What group activities, what are kids in rooms doing right now?
Well, and you can use educational babble, but nuts and bolts. Tell me what you're doing,
right.
and how am I going to know that it's working? And I want to measure.
Sure.
I don't want more or greater. I want concrete evidence.
Sure. They want the light bulb moments. They want to see those moments. They want to know. They want that firsthand. Okay. Yeah. The text, the data. Yeah. We stare at that all day. And sure, that'll give us a big picture in an overall scheme thing. But what's going on a day-to-day basis? What kind of progress you're making in a day-to-day basis? What's the kind of stuff that's going on in every school? And that's the kind of info they're looking for, kind of thing.
Well, in both schools, it was pretty cool. Both schools brought students.
I say the best way to do that is probably
they brought the kids, man.
Bring the horses, right from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
And they talked about the opportunities and how those opportunities have changed in the last 2 years and the future.
You bring the product with you, and you see the product's a lot better, and like, this is what we're doing.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of the work they're doing.
I got to admit. You hear the world we live in, and you talk about younger, older mindsets and all that. And I don't know if I'm just an extra didn't care kid or what, but I feel like kids in some facets are way more mature than I ever was when I was their age. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm thinking it. Kids are way more self-aware about the world.
Yes.
In 2022 than they were when I was their age in 19 or.
Well, and it's a mind shift over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Of basically recognizing what you just said.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, having to go, okay, years ago they didn't have to care about college now.
Yeah.
But why can't they? And how about we give them some exposure and maybe try to get them going down some directions so that they don't waste the time that I wasted and money whenever I got to college. And, God bless my parents.
Yeah. Well, and I applaud it in some ways, but then I'm also worrisome that you guys are still young adults, kids, mindsets of that. And you should not throw all of that aspect of your life out the window just yet. There is plenty of time in your life for you to worry about stuff in your 30s. Enjoy your teenage years a little bit. Yes, socially aware, being, getting to be good human. But at the same time,
football game or a party that isn't crazy, But,
I can assure
that's
you,
part of being a young kid.
I can assure you, some of our kids are enjoying their teenage years.
Yeah,
plenty.
Good. Okay. I get worried sometimes. Like, you're caring so much about social awareness. Are you just enjoying life, man, and just enjoying the great things that life has? And because it makes you deal with that other bad stuff so much better if you got a better grasp on it.
The neat thing that I've seen is we've been talking for years about responsible young men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, it's a side note that I've seen from some of the way our high schools are moving is it produces that. And that is one of the biggest things. Down the road, I don't know what's going to happen with your academic endeavors. But if I can have a student or a group of students or hopefully classes of students graduate from our high schools that know how to show up,
absolutely, to
work hard, to have a value for creating a good life for their family. That's huge.
And I'm wondering, I know we're getting philosophical
it's
here,
all good.
but things that we kind of absorbed as kids socially, today's youth miss some of that. I think just not that by their own fault. It's just technology. The way people interact is completely different than when we were their age. And I think there's some skill sets that get missed. And I'm wondering, is that something that schools are going to have to pick up, that baton, and say, okay, I know you're in a world where you communicate in text or various, but maybe there is that, I don't know if etiquette's the right word, because I don't think that quite fixes it. But I mean, there seems to be a disconnect there, where socially and a little bit of, I'd say pageantry and things, but just the way you handle and treat people, because we work in such impersonal modes, you learn the personal touch. And I don't care what you say about in life. You can have all the knowledge in your head and be the most smartest person on the planet. But if you don't have the ability to communicate it, to relate it to other people, then what good is that information? And I think there's a disconnect there on how we exchange ideas and things like that.
It's interesting that you bring that up. If you put two 18-year-olds in the room, they will communicate just fine.
Yeah.
If you take
maybe we're the ones.
If you take an 18-year-old and you put a 35 plus, heaven forbid you put a 50-year-old in the room with them, that's a lot of where the disconnect is. And it's a happy medium between accepting, I've got to understand the way y'all communicate. And I would still like for you to get to a level to be able to function with me.
Sure.
And I think that we have broken down some barriers when it comes to that. And again, I feel like our district moving in that direction is in a much better place than we were.
Good deal. I just didn't know that was
about 4 years ago. No,
schools are like trying to address.
Well, and it's if you take a 25-year veteran elementary school teacher, they will all tell you without question that kids are different than they were 20 years ago. And they should be different, because if you think of how society as a whole has changed, even in the last 10 years, when the iPhone came in, it accelerated great things and it accelerated some not so great things.
Yeah.
And there's the disconnect of, I still have people tell me, well, I don't even use those cell phone things. And I was like, well, you should, because they're great.
Yeah.
And you're behind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. 10 years ago you weren't behind, but you're behind now.
Yeah. And I get it. And you're right. Because I'm like, sure. Okay. You don't need to know how to do 70 things on your smartphone and know every shortcut and everything else out there. But if you are a functioning adult in society that has to go and function in life, whether you're retired, not retired, if you've got to deal with people in life, which is pretty much short of you medically not able to, that's everybody. You should be able to work a smartphone. You should be able to make a phone call, get an email, and send and receive a text.
Yep.
That is bare bones. It is in the world today of, can you mail a letter? Can you fix your own dinner? Can you
make a long distance phone call?
Make a long distance phone call. Can you? Okay, this one's going to outdate it.
I know where you're
Can
going.
you change your own oil? You know what I mean? But I mean that's it. That is the new world you live in. To function in society, you got to be able to text. You've got to be able to. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a computer expert, but you got to be able to work your toaster. You know what I mean? You got to be able to operate the oven in your house. You got to be able to operate this form of communication.
We were on a trip the other day, and we were trying to explain to our kids what an operator was. And they're like, wait a minute, you mean you actually called somebody to call somebody? And it's like,
dial O for operator?
Yeah.
What?
And they're like, well, why? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
It's just such a foreign concept.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. It's when you talk to somebody that does remember party lines, you know, where you couldn't talk because
especially
somebody
in
else was on
rural
the
parts
phone.
like here. Like I grew up in Maryland, where party lines were pretty much a thing of the past because it was. But out in New Mexico, in places more rural, that was still very much a part of the lexicon there, and so I knew friends and things that you pick up the phone and there's 3 people already on the phone and you're like, who is this?
My dad had a business in with the agricultural industry, and ranch radio was huge, and you couldn't call them at a particular time because they wouldn't have access, they wouldn't have a signal. So I mean, like I said, we've moved so far, so fast, and we've had to catch up to that. And the irony is, and it does really relate to what we're talking about. Some of what we're doing to come back to be more successful is taking some steps back, and coming back to a little bit of the practical side, and tying the technology and the practical applications and making it relevant for our kids a little bit earlier in their careers so that they will stay with us. That's the kid that we're losing. Why do I want to be here? I'm never going to use Algebra 2 at the grocery store. Why do I care?
Right.
Because you like this. I do like that. Well, then let's try to make it work.
And that's the same problem our generation and generations before us and slightly after us have dealt with too, because that truly is the mindset. You're in a class doing trigonometry and as a junior in high school, and you're like, unless I'm going to be a scientist or something, where am I going to use this? And now is the shift is, you know, and this is really through STEM and all that. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. The formulas and all the tried and true things that are based in math and science are boring as all get out. But guess what? To build that ship going to Mars, you've got to get to there. You've got to understand the foundations and principles of how we can get somebody to Mars. Once you understand that, then the cool part comes in, and you're like, now you can take this information. But it's you got to present it in a way that people will, and that's kind of been, because I know when I was a kid going through these, they're like, because you need to graduate, and you're like, why do I need to know it? Because you need to graduate. Yeah, but you know, and why do I need it to graduate? Because you need to know it.
Because I said so.
Yeah, and you were like,
and we bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the kids nowadays, they don't, and that's okay. One of the neat things that we've got going right now is several of our classes have industry certificates, safety certificates, mile marker certificates that the kids actually can take now, and they can go out into the workforce. And when they apply for jobs in different locations, they have these, and they have them in a portfolio. And so it's a lot of relevance.
It's and well, I like it because. And we're running out of time. I got too baggy. But college is an amazing thing, and you know, students go to college, do your thing. But I love we live in a world now that they're saying, you know what, college isn't for everybody, but there is still other places in secondary education that you can get involved with that isn't a 4-year college degree. You know, now they're saying, okay, let's get you into a trade school. Let's get you into a specialty school for exactly the thing you want to pursue your dreams in. Or maybe there's a third path that works for this person.
Sure.
I love that all options are on the table. When we were kids, again, I'm doing that thing, but it was kind of like you either go to college, you go to the military.
There you go.
You know, and that was it. Yep. And that mindset is not true anymore. So.
No. Real quick, because I do know we're running out of time.
Yes.
Wanted to hit, we did approve a medical cannabis policy and just want to debunk a couple myths. Number one, we don't have a choice if a doctor prescribes that for a student at school.
Because then you get sued if you don't.
Well, what we wanted to do is we wanted to get in front of it, and we wanted to govern that medicine the same way we govern everything else. So our policy is very clean. They can't smoke it. It has to come accompanied by doctor's orders. So if anybody has any questions on that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me because, like I said, we've built a really good policy.
Sure.
That's equitable and it's safe.
And I'm not, in by any way, shape, or form, an expert here, but I'm assuming most cannabis medicines that a underage person would be getting probably come in a pill form of some kind.
They have to.
Yeah, it's not.
According to our policy, they have to.
So that being said, it's probably treated like if your kid gets prescribed pain medicine or any other what's considered a narcotic, it's treated that same way. I'm sure the nurses get a hold of it and they distribute it as they're supposed to, and so the kid's just walking around with cannabis in their pocket.
I relayed that to a parent two ways. I said, if you insert the word EpiPen or Ritalin everywhere you see cannabis,
that's the policy.
That's the policy.
Yeah. So it's pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, like you said, don't hesitate. Reach out and ask and talk.
Reach out to me versus Facebook, please.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to people that can give you real answers, not their opinions.
Sure. Oh, I give you my opinion.
Very good. Is there anything we didn't get to cover you wanted to make sure we did?
No, I think I want to thank everybody. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Hope everybody gets a chance to reset. We've got holiday basketball girls tournament coming up and popcorn
and the holiday. We will be carrying all the games on KSVPTV.com. The Goddard and Rocket games will have announcers for and everything. The other games will just be there to watch. But we will have all of the games, KSVPTV.com, for popcorn and the holiday tournament.
Well, and that's awesome. And I love that KSVP.
But go.
and I will say that, man, you know what? Even if you just go to one, I don't care which school it is, but go to one and get that.
We do this for the out of town friend, so kids from some of the other schools, their families can watch. Your out of town grandparents can watch. If you're in town, get your butt to Ground Zero and to Roswell, the Coyote Den, and root on these teams.
I tell you what. So I've got. I mentioned the daughter, and I generally don't like to do that, but she also plays basketball.
Okay.
So we rewatch the games, and we critique. So,
good. So you use it as a coaching type.
Sure, that's what a coaching tool. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Let's rewind that slam real quick. Hold up, forward, right.
But unfortunately, it's like, why'd she slam it on you?
Yeah, maybe not so much on that one, but. As always, appreciate the visit. Thank you for coming in and joining us each month, and we look forward to 2023. And obviously, anything else we can do outside of our normal scope here, let us know, and we'd be happy to help here. And
likewise,
and
I would advise too. I'll communicate with you always. Weather delays.
Yes, he's always been one of the first people that. Or I don't know, but I'm one of the first people I get a note from him whenever those weathers happen, and of course some of the other Super and Dexter, they're all pretty good about reaching out too. So we will keep you up to date,
please.
And as soon as, of course, I do get a robocall, which you usually beat the robocall. There's been one or two times because my wife. Where the robocall beat you, but most of the time you beat the robocall for me.
I never realized just how much fun that decision-making process was, and how stressful that was. So
I know. It's already 9 o'clock. I got to shut up. I'll get in trouble. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back.
And further to the south, we've had severe weather develop out across the lower Mississippi Valley, and that includes both severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, and heavy rain that have impacted portions of Louisiana and Mississippi.
The storm system blamed for at least 2 deaths in Louisiana, where a young boy and his mother were killed when a tornado swept through Keithville near Shreveport. Congressional bargainers report some progress on a spending bill for 2023. Meantime, there is a Friday midnight deadline for a stopgap money bill that would avert a partial government shutdown this coming weekend. A big Democrat Party donor, the founder and CEO of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, facing an array of charges.
The U.S. government is charging Sam Bankman-Fried with a host of financial crimes. Federal prosecutors allege he intentionally deceived customers and investors to enrich himself and others while playing a central role in FTX's multi-billion-dollar collapse. The indictment says that beginning in 2019, Bankman-Fried began diverting the money of FTX's customers and investors to pay expenses and debts at his crypto hedge fund, Alameda Research, and to make lavish real estate purchases and large political donations, the majority of which went to the Democratic Party. The SEC filed civil charges, alleging Bankman-Fried defrauded investors and used proceeds to buy real estate for himself and his family. Tasha Stevens reporting.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 205 points, the Nasdaq 64 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Great news, Nick. Legacy boxes are still in stock. With Christmas just around the corner, there's still time to buy the best Christmas gift ever. Legacy Box.
That's right, Adam. Order today and Legacy Box ships immediately. It'll arrive ready to wrap and place under the tree.
Gather the family together this Christmas and collect all your old VHS and camcorder tapes, slides, pictures, and film reels. Then you can binge on the good old days.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your memories aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. Legacy Box helps you replay those great moments from the past, from Christmas morning to your wedding day.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
This Christmas is the time to digitize. Visit legacybox.com/lbox for exclusive holiday savings. That's legacybox.com/lbox for last-minute shopping. legacybox.com/lbox.
China's National Health Commission is scaling back its daily COVID-19 report in response to a sharp decline in PCR testing. Correspondent Charles De Ledesma.
A notice on the Commission's website says it stopped publishing daily figures on numbers of cases where no symptoms are detected. Despite a push to boost vaccinations among the elderly, 2 centres set up in Beijing to administer shots were empty on Tuesday, while lines stretched outside of hospitals and pharmacies. The move presents a key challenge to China, with mass PCR testing no longer obligatory and people with mild symptoms allowed to recuperate at home rather than in one of the field hospitals that became notorious for overcrowding and poor hygiene. It has grown more difficult to gauge the true number of COVID-19 cases. I'm Charles De Ledesma.
News and analysis at townhall.com. A sold-out menu item results in bloodshed at the drive-thru.
Police in St. Louis say a KFC employee has been hospitalized after a customer shot him because he was upset that the restaurant had run out of corn. Investigators say the man tried to place an order at the restaurant's drive-thru lane. He became upset and threatened employees. The man had a handgun when he drove up to the drive-thru window. An employee who went outside to talk to the driver returned to the restaurant and said he'd been shot. The driver fled. The victim was hospitalized in critical but stable condition. I'm Norman Hall.
Scientists say it's over. 2 active Hawaii volcanoes have stopped erupting. The U.S. Geological Survey's Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports that Kilauea is no longer erupting. The agency followed that up with a separate statement declaring that Mauna Loa has gone back to sleep as well. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week.
The happiest of Wednesdays.
Yes. Don't forget tomorrow, the Historical Society for Southeast Mexico is having their Christmas Lights drive-thru event between 5:30 and about 6:30.
Sure.
Come on, drive through, see the Christmas lights, enjoy. They're going to have cocoa, and they're doing the 50-50, so if you'd like to buy a ticket, you don't have to. But just come and just think, the first 50 people that drive through will get a special little gift bag, and that's the first 50 cars. But yeah, the hot cocoa, they're going to have the Christmas treats, selfies with Santa as well, so if you want to get a selfie with Santa, he might let you do that.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of getting Santa there.
I also tomorrow, I just found out about this. From 6 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
At the Adult Center at 807 North Missouri, the Roswell Community Christmas Caroling Practice is going
we
to
talked
happen.
about this yesterday with Robert Reynolds. Yeah, they're if you're interested in being a caroler.
Yeah.
They're meeting tomorrow at the Adult Center, right?
Yeah, 6 to 7 p.m. for practice.
Okay, so if
I
know because
it says everyone is welcome.
Yeah, come out. So I know this is in my head. This is a scenario I picture out there. Everyone in their family has the singer, the one that sings.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want them to sing, like in the car and they're singing, and you're like, "Will you please shut the heck up? I'm tired of listening. Let the singer sing the song, please." You know what I mean? You get
Mike, me.
We all have that people. Yeah, some are the people. If you don't know a person, you're probably the person. But anyway, there's always that person. And generally, I've heard those people say, I would love, let's go caroling. And they go to love caroling. Now, I love the concept. I love everything about it. I'm just, what's the goblin baby or whatever?
Goblin mode?
Yeah. I got a hint of that in me. So I'm a little curmudgeon. So that's not my thing. But I know it's a lot of people's.
The idea of it appeals to me.
And so I think people that run into the brick walls and people like me that say, bah, humbug that, you're like, well, screw you guys, I'm going to start my own party. Well, here you go. Someone said, screw you guys, I'm going to start my own party. And they said, invite everybody. Come on out to the Adult Center. We're going to practice, and by golly, we're going to carol. And I love it. Because you're grabbing the bull by the horns and doing it. So all of you folks out there listening that are been shunned by your family to sing or stymied your musical abilities.
So here's something for
let your freak flag fly. Come on out and do some caroling.
If you're not into caroling, if you're more like a Mike, more the bah humbug type. So how about you guys do something a little different? How about you, instead of that, you get together with more curmudgeons such as yourself, and you go around and you go around to area businesses causing trouble and asking to speak with managers. You can go Christmas Karening.
Christmas Karening. What's the male version of Karen, by the way? Is there one?
There's several. I've heard Russell.
Why Russell?
I don't know.
Russell. Poor Russell.
I don't know. I've heard a bunch of weird ones though. Like, I can't think of any offhand.
Surprised it's not Mike. They throw a crowbar and everything else.
I don't know. Why does Russell keep popping in my head? It might not have been Russell. I don't remember what it was. But anyway.
Is it because of Russell Brand?
Or maybe it was Brandon.
Ooh, a Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. From that lore.
Let's see. What is here? Let's find out what Google thinks. What is the male version of a Karen? It's thinking.
It's silent at the moment.
His name is Ken. Yeah, literally, as I said that, Andrea texted and said, a male Karen is either a Craig or a Ken.
A Craig or Ken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ken. Yeah, Ken. Ken feels right.
Where's my phone?
You feel all nude without it.
Did I leave my phone at home?
Oh, no.
I think I just had a moment of realization I left my phone at home.
I left my phone at home and only realized it because it connected to the Bluetooth on my car, but as I drove away from my house, it disconnected. So like, Well, I left my phone at home. So
Well, I listened to the radio station,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't. I think I left my phone at home.
Darn it!
I just had that moment of.
You have a knack for doing that.
That's twice now I've done it in the last month.
Matter of fact, when I left mine, I said I almost pulled a mic.
I know. It's going to be a mic thing now. It's going to be a mic. Well, in all fairness, if I had my druthers, I wouldn't even have a phone. I hate phones.
Do you though?
I do.
Now you're somebody that I would buy that because you don't really use your phone that much.
I don't. I'm sorry, Ro. What'd you say?
So that sounds like something a goblin would say.
Well, I've already admitted I have, minus the hedonistic stuff.
See,
I'm pretty on point there.
I used to be like that, where I was like, I use my phone, to communicate with people, but
yeah.
Nowadays I sort of live on my phone.
I do most of what people do on their phone on my iPad.
Sure.
Like if I watch funny videos or do things, it's on my iPad, and that's because I'm blind as a bat, and
Sure.
I hate looking at a tiny screen.
But I don't have a tablet. Like my kids have tablets. I don't. They have other devices.
I've had
this
one.
Is all I have.
I invested in the tablet world about 8 years ago, and ever since then I've been on board fully.
In tablet mode.
But I'm not gonna lie. I was the last to get a smartphone too, or cell phone, not smartphone, cell phone. My
was
wife
among the last.
pretty much said, "You're getting a cell phone," and got me a cell phone.
Right. Although I did get, when I first got my first cell phone, I got on one of those, you had to pay to send and receive text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a hassle.
Yeah, and I didn't embrace texting until smartphone technology.
Until you had an actual keyboard.
I was not flip phoning and doing the 3 hit the button 3 times to get H or whatever it is.
See, I did that, the T9, but I also had not a full-blown BlackBerry, but a version of a BlackBerry. It was a BlackBerry Pearl.
I had my first version of anything like that was the Palm Trio.
Oh, you had a Palm?
I had a Palm Trio for
Wow.
about a year or two there. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite bits. I can't remember what movie it was, but he goes, "Let me check my Palm Pilot."
Yeah. Yeah. One of my phones there for a year or two was a Palm. I think it was my first. Yeah, because I had a Razor before that.
Wow.
And then I got the Palm Trio.
Okay.
And then after the Palm Trio, I got my first Android phone. And it was like the first generation, and it sucked.
Yeah.
It was like an Alcatel suckathon or whatever that thing was called. And like you couldn't even play Angry Birds on it without it being all jacked up.
Yeah.
So
Well,
and to be honest, that's why I didn't embrace Android technology. I had that issue, and I said, this sucks. And I got an iPhone.
You got hurt early on in the relationship.
Yeah. And so when that phone was done, I went iPhone. I think the 3 or 4. I don't remember which one was out by then.
You were an early
And
adopter.
I said, I will get that. And I've been an iPhoner ever since. I've been locked into the Kabbalah ever since.
Maybe why I liked Android so much is because my first experience was the Windows, with the smartphone at least. Was
Oh, you had the Windows phone, yeah.
I still want one of those, by the
Boy,
way.
Well, you're the one.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Just for the novelty
Even
of
Bill
it.
Gates is like, that thing's a turd.
I was a spokesman for that thing. I had to.
I remember.
I had to
'cause
like
you
stand
worked
in
for,
support
like,
of the thing.
Plateau, or you were
No,
like
it was literally like
AT&T or
the
somebody.
AT&T reached out to me and because I had like some ground on some social and with the radio thing, and said, we want you to be a spokesman for this. So I had to cut a series of ads over the course of a year touting the glories of this Windows phone, the Nokia Lumia 900. I'll never forget. It was terrible. This phone did nothing. Not to mention the fact that it changed all of my media that I had to the Zune format.
Oh, the Zune.
Yeah.
That's
You
what I was
ever-
about to say. I
kids?
want a Zune, too.
Kids, if you've heard of the iPod, the Zune was the other thing that didn't quite make it.
Zune, yeah, the Zune was basically the.
Well, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, then they know what it is.
Oh, yeah, they use
that's
the Zune
right.
in there. That's right.
It's like the one tie-in they were able to
yeah,
get.
yeah.
feel bad for Star-Lord.
Someone I knew had a Zune, and they were all touting it. I think it was T-Beard.
Really?
I think he was.
That sounds
I feel
about
like
right.
he was all touting the Zune there for a little while.
My phone, my Nokia Lumia 900, it had the Windows App Store, and the reason that was such a bad thing was it didn't get all the apps that like other phones would get. I remember I had an app on this phone that was not Instagram, but was in fact an app that would send me a notification when the Instagram app was available to download on the Windows phone. That's what it was. It wasn't the Instagram app. It was a thing that would tell me when that thing was available.
What a What a crackhead of a
bad. Yeah. It was bad.
So, but yes.
They should make a tablet for goblins. Call it a goblet.
I'm going to buy it.
It would be fire.
He sat over here in the quiet for a good solid 3 minutes. He was brewing that one up. So,
well,
it's all right. I'm a father. I admire jokes like that.
You can banish me or bash me all you want. I'm happy, and that's what a goblin. What is it? Goblin
mode.
It's okay.
Mode.
I embrace
can't
it
remember
too.
the mode part.
I'm pretty sure we've said it more on this show than anyone else has this entire year.
Probably. Now I'm going to get inundated on my smartphone. Goblin mode related. Actually, no, it'll be on my phone's not here. I left it at home.
No, it's me. I'll get it. Goblin mode T-shirts.
I wonder how many calls I've gotten. Now I'm kind of like, dang. Usually my wife tells me too, but again, I don't have my phone. How's she going to tell me? And that phone don't work.
I mean,
yeah. All right. Let me give you the rundown for this hour. We're going to get you up to date with the weather here in just a bit. And here in just a few, we're going to replay our interview we had with Kay Galindo and Valerie Ward with the Roswell Refuge, and talking about needs and things they have. So we're going to play that. They joined us last Wednesday. So we're going to play that interview for you. Later on, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety and your Wall Street Town Hall business update. And, of course, we'll have, we're in the official 12 Days of Christmas Mannheim Steamroller. We'll be playing our vignette feature here in just a few minutes, learning you a little bit about why Christmas is Christmas. So we'll do. They do these every year, so get that here in just a minute as well. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure parking over the Four Corners with fairly cool air, but we'll get pretty nice weather over the next couple of days. Still windy today with a few gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine, though, at our high in the low to mid 50s. We'll be in the upper 20s and clear for the overnight hours. Looks like low to mid 50s again on Thursday. Not as windy, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. A little cooler on Friday, mid 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 45 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 29%. Winds are blowing out of the northwest, 20 gusting to 32 miles per hour. Sunny today, 54 the expected high, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds out of the northwest with gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. That's what we got right now. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 25. Winds will be out of the west at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 52. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10. So pretty similar to today, just less wind. Thursday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 25. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, we're not getting out of the 40s, according to this. Mostly sunny, 45 for a high, with north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then looking at your weekend, Saturday, sunny skies, 48 for a high there. And then partly cloudy, highs back into the low 50s on Sunday, 52 officially there. So, and it looks like we'll start next week in the low 50s as well, too. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9. We're going to get you into your Mannheim Steamroller vignette feature for today. Quick commercial break, then our interview with the folks from the Roswell Refuge on the other side. Don't go away.
Here's Chip Davis, founder of Mannheim Steamroller, with today's Christmas Countdown.
Christmas is only 16 days away, but the Christ child was actually born in the early spring. So why do we celebrate Christmas December 25th? Ancient people invented harvest and winter festivals for their various gods. In Rome, it was for Saturn, their god of agriculture. The Saturnalia was 7 days of revelry, complete with gift exchange. With the coming of Christianity, church elders looked to end all pagan rituals. And since the birth of Christ is not a fixed date in the scriptures, December 25th, the midpoint of Saturnalia, was picked for the new holiday, the Mass of Christ, the Christ Mass, hence Christmas. I'm Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller.
Brought to you by Commando.com, your trusted source for the latest news on everything digital. Get free newsletters with daily tech tips at Commando.com/subscribe.
A comedian once said, "No one can tell me anything, not even myself."
Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, most people stop listening and start forming an answer or response when someone's talking to them within 7 seconds, so they miss most of the information.
John 10:27 says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me."
You know, when Julie and I were preparing for this, she looked right at me after I spoke for a while and said, "What?" I guess we all have work to do in listening. But you know what? Just like learning to know God takes time and focus and to know His voice, it's going to take time and focus to really get to know our spouse and to really start enjoying and loving marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Hey, you probably know that health insurance can help to maintain and even improve your health and your family's health. But did you know it can also benefit the health of your finances? If you or a family member have an unexpected medical issue, and if you don't have health insurance, it could cost you thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. If you have health insurance, that same medical issue could only cost a fraction of that. And now, health insurance is more affordable than ever. So let the friendly and knowledgeable team at BWellNM guide you through the process. Visit BWellNM.com today.
Have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company, but come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:25, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Refuge, Kay Galindo back with us, and also Valerie Ward as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Mike.
How's everybody doing? Let's get you guys a little close to those mics so they can hear you a little better. Those things are meant to be screamed at. So, first off, how was Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I'll let Valerie tell you about shelter. They had a wonderful time.
I know, and this is what I love about our community. They step up every year, and I know at least a few people that brought by Thanksgiving items for Thanksgiving dinner to the refuge, and I know a few because I know directly, like our American Legion did, but I think a bunch of other people did as well too. So that's what I love about it, because our community really steps up during the holidays to help those in need, and I'm sure they continued this Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, and we couldn't be more grateful. The community's been extremely generous.
Good deal.
They are all year round, which we really appreciate.
And I say this every time, and I know Kay's probably tired of hearing it, but you don't realize how much of the treatment, the healing of these individuals that you're helping with by being a donor. Yes, they physically need the needs, the shampoos, the toiletries, the food, all the generous things that people donate. Yes, they're physical needs that they need, but it's all about kind of putting cracks in the armor a little bit. A common, and if I'm saying anything wrong, please tell me this guy's an idiot. Shut up. But a kind of a self-defense that humans do when you're in an abusive or a situation like that is you build a defense, you build a wall, you kind of shut the world out a little bit, you kind of build a shield in essence to protect yourself from some of the hate and things. And with that, it serves them well in keeping them sane, but trust issues, social issues, all of those things deteriorate because of that.
And that's one of the big things about Val. That's her goal, is to do the things to make it as normal as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
We had a great Thanksgiving. Excuse me. Another thing that I'm really happy about is our clients are staying a little longer, which is allowing us to provide them with more long-term
services,
and they're doing that because they're feeling comfortable and safe and
the security
and okay to stay there, and that is thanks
something
to
they may
the
have not had a
comforts
long
that
time.
you're mentioning and the assistance that they're getting to move forward, but really being able to have that comfort, normal feeling and not expect everyone you encounter to be the enemy.
Sure.
And it does take some time to get that off of your back and
Sure.
to start trusting people
But
again.
it chips away at that wall a little bit. And so they're like, wait a minute, this person doesn't know me, doesn't know a thing about me, but they care enough to bring me dinner, or they care enough to bring me linens. It gives them something to think about, and they start thinking, well, maybe my perspective is not exactly the true perspective. Maybe there's good people,
hope.
and there's some good people here. And so the more that happens, you start to slowly see the change from being like, no, thank you, I'm good. No, thank you, I'm good, to God bless you, thank you, that's awesome, to I'm doing great, how can I help you now? And that's that's the ultimate goal here, is we get these folks back independent, living their lives, having success, and going back and maybe helping others that have fallen into the same paths that they've fallen. And I know you guys, I know some of the personal stories there, but you guys can talk to them till they're blue in the face. But when it comes, when that hope comes from people that walk the same path, it has a stronger message sometimes. And so by you just coming and giving turkey or you're so much an important part of the process of healing these people. So thank you.
The important thing too is there are a lot of us that are employed at the Roswell Refuge that we are survivors of victims.
Sure. So you can chew some of that same dirt.
When we speak, I can tell Valerie we're very open about it. We're both survivors of domestic violence.
Sure.
So Val's main goal is to let them know you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only person. Whether she shares her story, I share my story, or one of the other girls. It's just a very important thing that when they do decide to break that chain and take a step to remove themselves from that danger, they need to know they've got that sound person.
Well, and it's great that you guys are the example. And what I mean by that is because, let's face it, I imagine a lot of folks that come through the door, they don't have a lot of optimism for future at that moment. You know what I mean? They're living in the moment.
It's very difficult when you've got 3 babies.
Yeah.
And you've got you're taken away from, even though it was a horrifying situation, you're taking away, not only yourself, but your babies from the only thing you know, and walking into this huge building of people you have no clue.
Absolutely. But then they see you and they say, wait a minute, you were worse off than I was. And look where you're at today.
And believe it or not, that does happen a lot of times.
And honestly, we've had several clients over the last year, I've been there about a year now, that have said, can I work here? I want to work here. And I hope one day they do after they're healed and ready.
Let's finish getting you ready, and we want you with open arms and sharing your life.
Let me mention while we're on that subject, after you've been a client in the shelter, after 2 years and you've moved on and you decide that you would like to give back, that's always an opportunity.
Absolutely. Even if it's nothing more than come to some meetings and sharing your story to help others hear your story, to give them hope to struggle through their own situation right now. And the more stories these folks hear, the more hope and more chance of success that gives them.
And I see that often, people who have been with us for a while, they really take newcomers under their wing. They remember what it was like their first week. And it's really a nice thing to see.
And to be honest,
support.
I think it's part of the healing because the people that are kind of serving as mentors, this is part of their growth and healing too. Because, maybe for the first time in their life, they're not the one being talked to. They're the one giving. And that's important in humanity too. You want to be needed, but you also want to be able to help. And, needing help is everything, but you also gives you a better sense when you're able to help people and give someone something that benefits them.
It's empowering.
It is. It's very, it's just like Christmas. You always feel better giving a great gift than you do. Most of us do. There's a few exceptions of the rule, but it's the same emotions, feelings we're talking about.
Valerie's had a lot of success here recently with getting clients into housing, getting jobs, being viable.
And that's probably, it's hard to say it this way, but at the end of the day, that's some of the most important part of what you guys do. Yes, the getting them in the right headspace and things are important, but if there's not concrete
They need stability
afterwards,
Yes.
the chances
Then
of them
the-
going back into that are
It
much
triples.
higher. Yeah.
Triples.
So to get them a foundation, to get them a place to where you're not leading the horse to water, you're teaching them how to drink or fish or whatever you want to throw, whatever analogy you want to fish there. You're giving them the tools to succeed, not doing it for them. And that's
That is
the huge
extremely
difference.
empowering. And that gives them the ability to choose a
The
person
path.
to be a relationship in
Yeah.
rather than to need
Be
that
forced.
person to survive.
Take your path and go wherever you want to go with.
Well, and you know, just to see the kids, you know, so happy, and I mean, you know, they're going to school, they're thriving, and you know, once mom sees that she's getting somewhere, then she wants to do that much more to get her children in a better.
And this is part of what, and this is a term you guys use all the time in domestic violence, is breaking the cycle. That's what this
Absolutely.
is all about, because we know it's all. If you were abused as a child, the odds of you abusing as an adult are much higher than someone that isn't. It's just the facts. It's just science. It's
Well,
just
we act out what we learn.
exactly.
So-
It's if you've been taught some way, to you that's how you do it. And look at a lot of other things in life. If why are these customs and things? Because that's how they did it growing up. You don't understand it because it's kind of that same mindset in
Exactly.
abuse. And so if you don't know how to get someone to do what you want them to do, or get, or interact with people other than yelling, screaming, and hitting, then that's the only tools you got in the bag when you're trying to get someone to do that you want to
And
do.
Lauren sees it a lot on her side as well. You know, she's our DVOT supervisor. She's the domestic violence treatment end of our organization. And she sees a lot of, well, my dad beat my mom up, my brother beats his wife,
Sure.
that it's just a pattern.
It seemed like a means to an end that seemed to work.
It's almost that they don't know there's any other way.
Sure.
That's on both sides.
They don't
of the
understand it
spectrum.
how much damage
the
you're doing
victims
there.
and the abusers. Because I can't comprehend that if they understood there was a better way, that it would be happening on either end.
Sure. And that's what, and so really that's what this is about, is teaching. And so when I was going back to breaking the cycle, you were talking about the kids, because let's face it, I would say not all, but a majority of some of the folks that come through, these victims of a domestic, they're bringing the kids in tow, who've been living this same nightmare that the actual abusee, they're all 3 or 2 or however many generally. The kids are abused, maybe not direct like
Well,
the
it's abuse
spouse would
to-
be.
For a child to
But
watch that type of,
It runs downhill.
we know all too well.
Yeah, so there's probably some mental health issues with all of the people involved there, the kids, and so part of this is not only getting the parent back into a good headspace, but showing these kids what you've experienced so far is not the way to do this. Let's show you what real love, what real parenting looks like, and guess what? When that kid goes to be an adult and goes to start their own family, the odds of them falling into the abusive cycles that they experienced as a child do not happen. And that's how you break the cycle.
Absolutely.
And that's, at the end of the day, this is how we fix domestic violence. There's
And
no
it's a
other way
long,
to it.
slow process, unfortunately, but I believe it can be done.
Absolutely. At least to a point where it is an anomaly and not a commonplace.
epidemic, yes.
You know what I mean? Where we see, and I mean, we all get, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's heinous and all that. But I'd like to get to a point where, we see that once in a lifetime as opposed to once a day or whatever it is we're seeing it now.
But the great part of it is that we don't get a huge amount of success stories to get to tell. Valerie's just been amazing the year that she's been there, and she's had several.
We have had quite a few what I consider success stories.
Awesome.
But I would like to give a huge shout out to every advocate that works at shelter, because we currently have a team of people who sincerely care about the clients, about each other, about the community, about the job. They're willing to go the extra mile. Takes a village. I certainly didn't make these changes by myself, but
when you have a good, caring,
thankful.
professional staff, it sure makes
absolutely,
it a lot easier.
we're very lucky
to get the work
have
done.
them, and I just want to thank them.
And what your staff and you guys see every day, And we got to applaud y'all too. You have an amazing staff that does amazing things, but quite frankly, the work that you guys do, it would be very easy for y'all to slip back into depression or dealing with your own mental health problems, because if you're dealing with people that are dealing with issues all day, that can impact you guys as well.
Honestly, when you mentioned the fact that the children probably need the mental health assistance as well, to be honest with you, I feel like every human being that I encounter over the age of 12 probably needs.
So I hope
we
for
all
y'all
need
so
that.
y'all take care of each other too, and kind of talk. Well, I'm sure you do.
Very important.
But
Self-care.
you know, that's just as important as helping the residents of the home is making sure the staff are okay and able to handle the next crisis. You
The
know,
community's only as healthy as its weakest member, and that includes all of us.
So by and to be honest, by the public, everyone out in the public supporting, by making these donations, by dropping by and offering services or offering various things to the Roswell Refuge, that helps the staff, makes their day a little bit brighter too. Because I'm sure days that you guys get down and like, man, what kind of world we live into? And then someone comes by and makes his generous donations, like, oh, this is real. They kind of get you all back into that.
It gives you a boost.
All right, there's hope left. Let's keep trucking.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I always stress this at any point I'm given a chance to. You know, we are a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
We hugely depend on the great people in our community.
Not a thing is wasted at the refuge.
Not one thing.
Yeah.
Not one thing. And everyone is very aware of our dollar situation, so everyone's frugal as we can be. Sometimes you just can't. So, you know, the community is a great supporter of our organization.
And I would imagine, you know, when we had the COVID pandemic portion, that probably put a real damper on
real
facilities, resources, donations, and things like that. So since we've kind of come out of this COVID world a little bit, I imagine you guys have been playing a lot of catch up over the last.
We've not caught up yet.
Yeah, you're still catching up
Right.
From that now. So, you know, I know we're here hot and heavy in the holiday season. We're asking for the community's help once again. Pull through like you did this Thanksgiving to provide with this Christmas season. We got kids that are calling the shelter home. We've got adults that are calling the shelter home. And we want to do everything in our power to make this holiday season a warm, fond memory.
We will make it.
Yes.
A good memory for them. Absolutely.
But the best way is through support. So toys, this is the time of year we love toy donations for boys and girls from infant to teenager.
Yes.
And then, of course, food, things like that. Don't wrap the gifts in case, you know, so we can.
We have to make sure they're age appropriate.
Yeah, but please drop off your new unwrapped toys. That would be a great thing to give to these kids for Christmas and things.
Socks, underwear, pajamas,
all that
slippers,
stuff is. I know you hate to see it under your tree as a kid, but they desperately need it under their tree.
We're in yes, definitely.
I know as a kid you're like, oh, more underwear, dang. They're right. Oh, cool. Yeah, I need underwear. Yeah.
I always like getting new stuff like that, though.
Boys are kind of like, it's like that was space for a new toy, truck, not a pair of socks. Just saying. But yeah, I get it. But yes, please. And then food as well. Here's the thing, and I say this because, and I try to say this every time just to remind people that they have a full kitchen. They love to cook. So if you want to give them ingredients to make like pies, cakes, cookies, wonderful.
Absolutely.
They can't necessarily, the staff can't go out and buy cookies and candy and stuff that are made. People can donate. Now, if you like saying, hey, you know what makes me happy? Kit Kat. Here's a giant bag of Kit Kat. When you feel down, eat a Kit Kat. Bring it. You know, bring those things because they can't necessarily buy that, but we can accept it as gifts. And trust me, those little knick-knacky type stuff are those little pick-me-ups. Those little just, you know, personal happy moments kind of thing. And you string enough of those together, you got a good day going on.
There you go.
And that's what it's about.
You bet.
You know, someone brought some flowers. It changed.
I can imagine
the mood of the house for several days. It's very uplifting.
Some
just
about
a
some
kind word.
I can see that because, like, even at your own home, like, you know, if I bring my wife flowers, I don't get to do it very often because we have cats and any plant that goes in the house is pretty much a goner. But once in a while, I'll sneak one in there, and for that day or two, it's nice to see those flowers.
Thought, you know,
it does
really
kind of add to the vibe of the room a little bit. I completely understand what you're saying there. And so
I wanted to get to before we run out of time.
Yeah, we get to. I tend to get on tangents. Sorry.
I am having a end of the year free garage sale on Saturday
at the Refuge Thrift
Yes.
Store, which, by the way, is another great thing to support. So when you donate items, if it doesn't help directly with the members of the home,
it goes
then
into
they
the
sell it
store.
there, and then that money's used
Goes
to
back to the
programs and things
Yes.
every there. So by you donating and shopping, it's a win-win for the Refuge as well,
Absolutely,
too.
but we're having, just to clear out everything so we can start fresh in March, we are going to close our store. Leslie and I battled with it, if it was lucrative to keep it open through the winter months, and we just decided it wasn't.
Okay.
It's a garage, of
So we're
course,
going to make it a seasonal thing now.
We will close during the winter months.
Okay. So
And
pick
then
back up in the spring, I'm taking?
in mid-March.
Mid-March. So
Yes.
yeah, right around spring, right about time Easter.
Yes.
When you're ready to buy all your
And
Easter stuff.
it'll be all brand new stuff in the store, and it'll be completely revamped.
Now, when do you close for the season?
Our final day will be on the 10th.
On the 10th of December.
On the
So you got a couple more days here to get it done.
Let's
Is
talk
that-
about that location real quick.
Yes.
Make sure everyone knows the right
1215
building.
North Garden.
North Garden, yes.
Right across from the gas company.
Yeah, that's where the offices are and everything, not
Yes.
where the
And the
home
thrift
is.
stores there.
You
Yeah.
just look for the purple door.
Absolutely. Come on in and
Yes,
do
and-
some shopping. And
it's just our way to give back a little to the community that maybe be a little less fortunate this year.
Now, is the thrift store open to the residents so you can still collect some items?
Absolutely.
So just because the store's not open, if you have items to donate, don't worry. We're
That
going
store's
to.
available to our clients 24/7.
So please keep donating because we're going to be giving it to the people in the home.
Absolutely.
And then in the spring, we'll make it available to the public.
Absolutely.
Here. But-
Val, just for instance, if she had a intake at 2:00 in the morning and they didn't have clothes, Val would take them and let them do
Gotcha.
shopping.
So please don't stop donating. Keep
Right.
the donate. Just
Absolutely.
because you can't shop there during the winter,
Right.
please. They love accepting
Just
your
please
stuff.
don't leave it outside the door.
Call,
Please.
make arrangements
Yes.
if it's big stuff,
Yes.
especially. You know, if it's things
Yes.
like that. But I will tell you this: kind of the popular items, things that are always in demand at the refuge. Any type of linens, bedding, sheeting, because that's towels, all of that. We got the list right here.
What we're currently in need of.
These towels, things like that. That stuff that the clients' residents take with them. That's their own personal stuff.
If they choose to, we certainly do not hold them back from that.
Right now, needing silverware, so sets of silverware would be great. You know, just you don't have to get fancy silver, just the cheapo stuff that you get. You know, at the for a couple bucks at the end of the aisle there would be perfect.
I don't know if the kids are doing gardening with the spoons or what.
Spoons are taking a beat right now.
Silver.
So spoons especially. So, but yeah, silverware, things like that. Toiletries is always in demand.
Always.
And if I remember right, they prefer the family size bottles of shampoo and conditioner and soaps and what have you. I know the travel ones are, and if that's what you have, bring them. We'll keep them and give them to the homeless people or anybody else that might need them. But for the home and for the families that are at the home, we prefer the family size and stuff. Because again, this goes with them. It's not stuff that stays when they're gone. This goes to when they go to their hopefully forever home and get established there. So bottled water is another one. That one that you can definitely
We've been
need.
trying to set the rooms before the clients come in and give them a little welcome
Like a little
basket
welcome
so
pack.
they
Kind of
can
like when you go to a
couple-
hotel or something, you got your
couple
little
of bottles of
welcome
water,
thing
some
there. Yeah. Something to make them feel at
resource
home.
information,
Because I imagine
some comforts. Yes.
it's probably in the middle of the night when they show up in these rooms and sometimes and they're tired, haven't slept, probably hungry, probably thirsty.
And they're not quite comfortable in the surroundings. They may not
So-
want to venture out to the common area,
Yeah,
you
so they
know.
can
So
sit,
just at least one day
unwind,
they can.
decompress.
Yes.
Have a glass of water, sit and just think for a minute, or just be quiet for whatever. That's a godsend sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. I think parents know.
Yes, absolutely.
Parents know. And then in the need of some mini fridges, probably for the rooms.
We're
Just needing one? Okay. One mini fridge. So if someone's got a mini
used
fridge,
one,
maybe you
yeah.
graduated from college and you bought an adult size refrigerator now, you have a perfectly good college size or mini fridge, please reach out.
And we're always thankful for any kitchen items.
Those are
pots,
always in
pans,
demand.
Dishes, yeah.
And then your disposable like paper towels, toilet paper, those are constant needs.
They're
that are
always welcomed.
Always get cleaning supplies, things like that. even
we
if,
need everything.
Yeah, and even like I know you guys have like commercial freezer space and stuff too. As long as like meat's been properly butchered, processed,
and packaged, stored.
The refuge can accept some of that stuff. Now they can't just do backyard.
Right.
There's a safety concerns here, but I'm sure your meat's fine. But for everyone's safety, But so if you do have a side of beef or a game, that's been through the proper processing and packaging and all that, and you want to donate because you can't eat 80 pounds of elk, then they would love to help you with some of that. So,
absolutely.
But please, any of that little bit is greatly appreciated. And even small appliances are great for the refuge for when they help. When they move. So if you've got like coffee pots that you replaced or microwave ovens,
toasters,
or the little like sandwich makers or little toaster ovens or deep the air fryers or whatever now the latest trends and things that we're into.
We do try to help set them up for success as much as we can when they're exiting. That's
except give them enough to where they can go and establish an apartment and granted. They'll be on their own to get some of the decor and things, but as far as the essentials, hey, here's something to make dinner with, here's something to sleep in, here's a couch to sit on, here's a TV to stay connected or a computer to stay connected with the world here, and then they they grow and thrive from there, and that's the fun. See, y'all are contributing to the fun part, the success when they finally break away from the situation and they're at a place in their life where they're feeling good again. Now we get to give them all these gifts to help them go be adults and go be productive people again. And that's the fun part. That's because I imagine every single person's like a kid in a candy store when they're going through the thrift store and like, ooh, yeah, microwave. Ooh, wait a minute, I can take this. Imagine you get a few of that.
Oh yes.
They're like, are you sure?
Yes.
Because let's face it, you're giving them a lot, and they're like, where's the string? Where's the catch? Because let's face it,
they're very shocked to us.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad mindset to nothing comes free and having it always be. But at the same time, because they come from a world where where they came from, it's so hard to fathom that someone says, "No, I just want to make sure you're okay. This is for you. Do what you want with it. It's yours. Live it, love it, burn it. I don't care. Whatever you do with it, it's yours to do with it as you please." And enjoy it,
right?
And sometimes it's just like, "What's your angle, bud?" And you're like, "My angle is to make you happy," and that's all there is to
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
But I do want to invite everybody to come out on Saturday. We're going to do it from 9 to 2. Like I said, it's going to be free. If you'd like
that's
to
on Garden.
That's on Garden, 1215 North Garden.
Yeah.
If you would like to bring a couple canned goods in for
always
give back, we're more than welcome to take that. If you'd like to make a donation, we're also open to that.
And that's another thing too. If you're like, well, I'm not sure what to get, and this, that, monetary always helps. Gift cards are great things.
If you would like to, you can go on our website, donate that way.
Yeah.
We're also going to have hot dog, chips, and a soda for $2.
Okay, so pay $5 to get because it's all going to help the refuge. So overpay for a hot dog. Pay $5-$6 if you can.
If you want.
But if you only got $2.
And if you don't have $2, you still get a hot dog.
We're gonna feed you regardless. But,
absolutely.
But come, and we'd love to come support. Do a little shopping. Do a little donating here. Like I said, there's non-perishable food items if they're not being used directly at the refuge. I'm sure you give them to the Harvest Ministries or someone that could use it.
We always
more.
Yes,
so
absolutely. We network with. If we've got too much of one thing, then we try to network to someone else.
That's the other great part about this community is our nonprofits really do have that kind of networking where if you have clients that need help from you guys, they'll send them to you and vice versa. You're like, okay, this is not domestic violence. They're homeless. Let's talk to our homeless coalition folks. We'll get you in touch with them. Or, you guys can't pay your bills this month. Let's get you over to Harvest Ministries and see what we can do to make that happen.
We always
for you.
try to make sure that we can at least give them some resources.
Yes. Yeah.
If we're not able to do what they need, then we try to give them the.
And the same thing too with like the thrift stores. Like if you have some of your residents and you're like, oh, I have one that needs a microwave, but we don't have any at the moment. And then you'll send them over to another thrift store and they'll give you, take that microwave. And it's just how we do it here. Right. And to me, that's why we have such great success with our community. So
and I think we have a list of people that Val needs to give a little thank you
Oh,
to it.
yes, we don't want to miss that.
Is that
We do
okay?
not-
I'll be
absolutely.
quick about it.
Thank everybody. Take your time.
And I apologize for the names specifics that I don't have and will miss, but I
We
want to give
appreciate and love all
a
of
good
you.
shout out to the Ladies Garden Club. They decorate a little flower pot for us in the front of the refuge, and it's
Oh,
very
cool.
beautiful, and it really cheers us up, and we appreciate them.
That always brings happiness to a place where not always is there sometimes.
Brown Pride recently came in and let us check out their motorcycles and vintage cars and made a lovely donation. We want to thank them.
Oh.
Also, Target, Save the Children made a nice donation to us. Kelly Smith,
Nice.
the Eagles has made a nice several donations to us actually. And then this is kind of an odd one, but we have a couple of facility maintenance people that have helped us out by not charging us a whole lot to
Doing
help
their work
fix a few
without
things.
cost.
And
Yes,
I just want
which is a huge help to you
thank
guys.
All About Drains and Lucero Plumbing for that.
That's so nice that they can donate their time is what they did, time
And,
and
then,
work.
and thank you for
Anytime.
giving us this opportunity to make
Anytime I help, and this is the easiest job. I turn on a microphone and spew. That's what people pay me. Someone's dumb enough to pay me to do this
And
stuff.
all the people, I do apologize, I don't have them all on the top of my head, but all of the people that have made monetary donations, we appreciate you so very much.
Absolutely. Well, it gives you guys so much, and we got to go just a little time, but it gives you guys flexibility because,
Absolutely.
like, when you get money from like United Way or whatever through grants,
specifically allocated.
yeah, it's earmarked for specific things. Where these donations, it's wherever the
Well, if
need
you
is
get-
needed, we can use it.
If you
So.
get a kid in that's got a size 14 shoe, it's not likely I'm going to have it in the store.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's just to give you a little idea of what the money does.
Yeah, it goes to help those things that those
Or somebody's glasses got broke in the fight, and
when the weird thing happens, that money's there to fix that.
and
So
Leslie does an amazing job of stretching it as far as
Sure.
she can, so that
being good stewards of that money.
nobody does without.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the staff. Everything is amazing. Before we go, I want you to give out the first the office number. If anybody has any questions about donation or Saturday or anything like that, or any of the business side of the Roswell Refuge, what's that phone number to call?
575-624-3222. That
That-
is our admin office. That's where I'm at. I do all the donation, the thrift store stuff.
Mhm.
You can call about that at any time. We're open from 9 to 3 Monday through Thursday and 9 to 2 on Friday.
Very good. And that's so now if you are needing resources for domestic violence, someone to talk to, break away, you're an abuser, want to stop being an abuser, you suspect something but don't know how to handle it, anything like that, anything domestic violence related, there is a 24/7 hotline number that you can call, and that's the number.
575-627-8361.
Yeah, and that number is available to you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas morning, 2 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon. Doesn't matter. Someone will be there on the other side of that phone for you to talk, for you to break away, for you to seek resources, for whatever you need that phone to be at that particular moment. That's what it will be, and it's all you in charge. Absolutely. You are the one who determines how far we go with this or how far we don't go with this. That is up to you, and it's all confidential, and it's all safe, secure. You have nothing to worry about there. So, Good deal. Is there anything we missed?
Don't think so. I think like I said, we've just got the free garage sale on Saturday. I hope everybody comes out and supports the Roswell Refuge
Come out.
Thrift Store.
Yeah, and bring some canned good, non-perishable food items to help everybody, and come have some fun. Come meet some fun people too.
We're fun kids.
That's right. And who knows? Maybe I'm sure you're always looking for volunteers and things. You know, obviously because of what you do, there's certain privacies and things, but there's probably foots in the door to help do things. You know, even if it's just, hey, can I help cut the grass a couple times a month or
we're
whatever?
always looking for
Yeah,
that.
stuff like that. You
Yes.
know, like that.
Mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, so-
yes, if you happen to get a chance and you want to go do something, you come to Roswell Refuge to do our yard.
Any landscapers with extra time? Yeah, the refuge.
Do I have 5 seconds to
Sure.
say thank you to Sandy Kennedy Licone and Carol Oy for being volunteer tutors at the shelter for
Awesome.
children in
Thank you
need.
for your time and
Yes.
thank you for your dedication.
Mike,
Absolutely.
thanks for having us.
Anytime. We'll see you next time,
Have
okay?
a great
Merry
day.
Christmas if I don't
Merry
see you between
Christmas.
them. All right, it is 8:58. Let's do a quick break.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. In its ongoing drive to tamp down inflation, the Federal Reserve expected to announce another interest rate hike today. This time around, economists look for a 0.5% increase. Inflation raging across the pond.
Britain's Consumer Price Index rose 10.7% in the 12 months through November. The Office for National Statistics says that's down from a 41-year high of 11.1% in October. November's inflation rate was less than the 10.9% expected by economists.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Company Christmas parties making a comeback. A survey of 252 U.S.-based companies conducted by Challenger Gray and Christmas finds that more than 57% of American businesses plan an in-person party this year. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
9 of 10 people with pre-diabetes don't even know they have it. Left untreated, diabetes can lead to other health complications including heart disease, stroke, and liver disease. Don't put off your care any longer. Artesia General Hospital's Diabetes Care Team can help you make a personalized plan to manage diabetes or pre-diabetes and reclaim your health. Learn more or request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/diabetes.
Greetings, Roswell. We're the student council members at Berendo Elementary.
Starting December 5th
and running through the 15th. Our school will be holding a canned food drive. Our goal is to raise over 2,000 food items that will be donated to Harvest Food Ministry.
Please donate if you can.
Let's make this a bright Christmas!
Please help out by donating canned food items to Berendo Elementary School December 5th through the 15th.
Thank you!
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. Take care.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Lawmakers reaching a deal last night on a framework for a spending package to keep the government running and averting a shutdown. Here's Bernie Bennett.
Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Patrick Leahy Tuesday night said negotiators had reached a bipartisan, bicameral framework that should allow them to finish an omnibus appropriations bill that can pass the House and Senate and be signed into law by the president. Leahy said he reached a deal with Senate Appropriations Committee Vice Chairman Richard Shelby and House Appropriations Committee Chairwoman Rosa DeLauro. Government funding runs out at midnight Friday, and lawmakers must pass a short-term funding measure known as a continuing resolution this week to prevent a government shutdown. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Also at Town Hall.